Hey guys, and welcome to the J and K Show. This is your Monday edition. We're covering all of Sunday night football, all the day games, all the London games we had, covering everything from Sunday. We're always going to start with our team because our team pulled it out late. It was a very tough game.
They tried to give it away.
Ooh,
Boy,
I
they
put for
tried.
our game. I said we played with our food.
We
We did. We played
were
with.
like a little kitten bapping at shit, wasn't we? Just
Yeah, it was.
hi.
It was
You
tough.
break a tackle. You break a tackle.
I want to start chronologically. There's a lot to discuss with it. The pre-game injuries that we suffered is unbelievable. We have
Unreal.
obviously the video. We have Charvarius Ward being ran over by our third string tight end. You can't
Was that Ogletree?
organize your reps correctly. He runs him over, concusses without a helmet. Who knows how long
Yeah.
that concussion could be? A 2 or 3 week concussion. We
Yeah.
have no clue.
Yeah. Was that Ogletree?
It was Ogletree. Yeah. It's like
Cut his
we
ass.
can't no, don't cut his ass.
No,
But we
I
can't
keyed. I keyed.
that's on the coaching staff. That's on our training staffs, our physical
Yeah.
trainer, fitness, everybody that's organized on the field for pregame. You can't. We got to be separated a little better or have a certain line to it. Like, come on, that's
Yeah.
bush league right there.
That is some bush right there. Yeah, that was really bad. And then I don't know what to think of the AR stuff. I don't know
I
if
don't either.
it's manufactured because as sudden as it was, that makes me feel like they are prepping him for a trade. Um,
They're
and
squashing it
maybe
with
even along
the
with AD Mitchell.
stuff coming out that an orbital fracture
I'm not
and
buying it.
and he's on going on IR, which means he's not tradable, and it's going to take him
Mm,
past the deadline. So now
uh,
I almost have to
mm,
think that that's maybe a real thing. And then you go into my God, he is made of glass. He orbitally
yeah.
fractures his cheek, one of his cheeks, on a elastic stretching band. Of course it hurt. I'm sure it hurt like a son of a bitch.
There.
But it fractured your bone. It hit you so hard, or there was a hard piece that hit so hard, and he's going to be
Yeah.
out for over a month. I've
That
never even
doesn't
heard
sound
of
right. I mean, unless it was like that viral video, that kid with that elastic band and he smashes himself in the nuts and he shits himself.
that.
Oh, oh. I could see him going down like that. That'd be. I want to see that video.
I was trying to go back on the notes and I couldn't find it. When were we told that AR was going to be third string? Was it Sunday morning or was it Saturday?
It was Sunday morning.
Okay,
It
so that
was,
checks
yeah,
out then.
right. I want to say right around third, fourth quarter of the London game. That's when, at least when I got the notification,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh man, it seems like they're pushing him back." And then AD Mitchell was a healthy scratch, so I
yeah.
was like, "Oh man, this seems like maybe they're gonna package those two up
Hmm.
and have them be part of a trade or something." I was thinking my thoughts immediately went to the Raiders
Right.
because they need a QB and they need another receiver. It's like, no, are we making a move for Crosby?
Yeah.
And my nippies perked up pretty quick. I was happy for a second, and then like you said, they put AR on the IR again, so that kind of takes that and took the air out of my balloon.
I mean, I would say that it doesn't mean that we still can't do it because that's freeing up
Yeah,
a roster spot, sort of. Not really. You're just moving Riley Leonard up to backup, but you make Mitchell a scratch. From what I'm assuming is they just like what they got from Doolin. They like what they got from obviously our other guys, and Pierce was healthy, and so they're just
yeah,
like, dang, like I think he would have been our sixth receiver, maybe,
mm,
and they just felt
maybe.
like, we don't want to carry a sixth receiver. Some weeks we just won't want to. And if
Mm,
that's the case, you'd have to think that somebody is going to be available, and it'd have to be Mitchell probably. The Raiders do need
uh,
wide receiver help. He would be their second best wide receiver probably right out of the gate. As far as talent,
uh,
or at least trying to groom him into a guy, you would probably be investing in him as a wide receiver too fairly early.
yeah.
So
Probably maybe a 3. I wouldn't. I don't know if I would put him ahead of Trey Tucker or
yeah,
Jacoby Myers just yet. Talent wise, absolutely,
yeah.
but potential wise, absolutely again. But but I think that they would go for it, and I think they would both help that team out a little bit. But
to to
uh,
cool
it,
to cool the trade talks, the Colts don't normally make moves to free cap, and I know everyone got really excited, but I think the most likely reality for the Colts is they did that so they could afford Pratt from the Bengals when they did that move. They wanted to make it more affordable. They are preparing in case they need maybe another guy from injuries throughout the year. They want to have another couple million to play around for free agency. It's not a lot of money that was freed up to acquire a Crosby. So to be totally honest, that is not probably going to happen, and that sucks. But you would have to move AR and Mitchell probably to make that seem like that's going to happen, so that their money moves with them. And so really, Crosby is not probably coming to the Colts.
well, I don't know. I mean, I think the Colts are still pretty well under the cap. So they could. I think we have enough money left still that we could probably bring in a high-profile person. Maybe not a Crosby, but I got to think if he was gonna come here, maybe he would sign for less. Maybe sign an extension for a little bit less at the beginning, but um,
Yeah.
it would still be nice to have. I think right now he's not in need. I think we have pass rushers out the ass, but
He's
it would
so
still be
good.
nice. He's so good. It would be nice. Like I would even maybe give up one of our rushers as a part of that deal as well, but just to make that room. But I like our guys, and really, if we don't make any trades, it wouldn't bother me because I like the way the team's going right now. I like the
Yeah,
chemistry, and
I agree.
I don't want anything to come up and fuck that up.
Right. So going into the actual game, Daniel Jones, his interception was obviously really bad. He
Oh
obviously
yeah.
couldn't have seen him, right? He literally just did not see that defender because that was one of the more easier interceptions. He was in complete route of that ball. There was no direct line of sight. There was no way to. He must have really just not seen him in the path because that was pretty
Yeah.
easy. It's obvious.
That was rough. He looked like he was staring down that side. Probably the easiest read he's ever made in his life.
Good news is the Colts got it right back. And I know some
Right
fans
back.
wanted a PI, the Cardinal fans, but what really ended up happening was the guy ran into a guy already in that line of running. Like he wasn't moving towards him, he was just already standing there in his zone.
Hmm.
So it slowed the receiver down, and then Brissett launched the ball anyway to where he was going to be. And so that disruption of someone just literally being in the way of where he was going to try to run his slant, that right there causes the interception. So no, it's not a PI. The guy has to actually be guarding the receiver or make contact on purpose, but the defender was actually in the line of running. So no, that's not a PI just because I'm standing here. That's not the same.
Yeah. I'm
But it was
allowed to stand
awesome.
here if I want to.
Yeah. But Brissett
But
looked good,
yeah.
man.
Oh man, yeah. And I know Sam will probably get mad, but you know what? I really don't care.
I don't
I
either.
don't care. I
He
mean, Jacoby did his job and he looked really, really good.
At some point
He
you just have to garner the fact that he has a biased hate because of
yeah.
things in the past. At the end of the day, Brissett's a backup, and he came in
Yeah.
and he looked like he wasn't a backup, which is the case we've made over Jacoby Brissett for many years. Is at
Yeah.
times he looks like he's a starting caliber quarterback. He did
Mhm.
his job on Sunday. He pushed us to the
Absolutely.
absolute limit.
Yep. It's not his fault that our defense was hurt. It's not
Yeah.
his fault that we had players out. And anytime you're missing a Kenny Moore, and Ward gets taken out, pregame,
Hmm.
it's gonna have an effect. I mean,
Right.
you got to know that going in, and it's not his fault. He's just got to go out there and he's got to throw the ball, and
Yeah.
that he did it. He threw all over the field, man. He was excellent.
To that argument too, we've had secondary issues on health already this season. So that goes into, well, Geno Smith went against similar secondary. That goes into
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix win against similar secondary. Did Brissett not play as good as any quarterback we've faced this season? And
Mm-hmm.
we've had secondary problems the whole time. So if we're going to make that comparison, we have to go back on that and then go, oh, okay, so Jacoby Brissett is better than Geno Smith?
Yes.
He plays better at times than Bo Nix? Like, those aren't things you would say, obviously. And I'm not saying the
Yeah.
Bo Nix one. But at the end of the
No.
day, the guy comes in, he plays well. You don't knock him because he's going against a weaker secondary. Our secondary, those young guys have played their asses off. Lamons is solid, and
Mm-hmm.
Blackman is solid. He had the pick.
Yeah.
These guys are better than your typical fifth and sixth string DBs. Okay, that's the
Yeah.
good thing about the Colts is we're grooming these guys into being solid contributors that can rotate in these certain circumstances, and we don't have to feel like, oh, we're totally screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. I was glad to see Blackman kept his feet this time.
Yes,
He didn't
he
trip
didn't fall.
himself up. But he looks like he's playing a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Lamons made that play on
Mm-hmm.
McBride at the end. He made contact with him, but I don't think he interfered.
Yeah,
He didn't tug or didn't push or anything. It just looked like they made incidental contact with each other, at least to
yeah.
me. And
I
then
told
McBride
you,
tried to channel his inner LeBron James and flopped pretty hard.
yes. I told you after the game, he just didn't sell it well enough.
No,
Honestly, he went
he
in with
sold it too
contact.
late.
Yeah, he went in with contact in the end zone. He's getting that contact. He breaks away. When he does, we grab him a little bit, right? But he
Yeah,
breaks free of the grab, and then he gets ready, and then he starts to dive for a second, and then he starts flopping
yeah,
around, going, "Oh!" It's like, dude, you
yeah,
totally ripped away from that and was clean.
yeah.
And then when you realized the ball was still too far away, you started
It's
to
too far
flop.
away. It's like,
You
ah,
gotta sell the grab. You gotta, when you're
yeah,
getting grabbed, really sell the grab like you're getting grabbed and all that. But instead, he waited. He went through it to make the play. Realizes he can't, and then he's like, "Well, then give me the call." And that's not how it works, man. That's
yeah.
just
No,
not. It's
no. Yeah, he needs to watch some LeBron tape and learn how to flop properly.
yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other note that I wanted to say was JT looked great. He had another great game, and then
Mm-hmm.
pretty tough, sad thing to see Marvin's boy go down with a concussion in the game.
Yeah,
His first ever game playing in this stadium as a pro, and it's damn, that kind of sucks. I would have liked for him to
yeah,
be in the whole game just to kind of take in that whole moment. Maybe after the game, shaking hands and kind of just have that moment. And it's like, man, he got concussed. Like that
yeah,
sucks.
yeah. I'm not gonna be broken up about it. But
Well, as a
I mean,
competitive nature, yeah.
the competitive part of it, yeah,
Mhm.
of course, you want to see Marvin's boy come in here and go against his dad's old team. I think that's probably what he wanted to have happen too.
Mhm.
But yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. I mean, give credit to Arizona, man. Those guys, I
Mhm.
think they're much better than a 2-4 team for sure.
Yes,
I mean,
they showed it.
they are gutsy. They're hard nosed. Maybe it was just because Jacoby was in there. Maybe when Kyler's there, they're just a little bit more finesse and a little
Mhm.
bit, dare I say, soft. But if you don't have Jacoby's not that guy that's going to run around on you and have
But
his
he
little
can.
feetsies going. He can run, yeah, but I mean
Damn,
Kyler's one of those just
yeah.
shifty little kittens on crack.
Mhm.
Is what
Yeah.
Kyler does when he's back there. You know, but I think maybe that kind of goes to show that Arizona's like, okay, well maybe we don't need that all around just run around guy who runs around and
Right.
creates. We need that person who's going to stay in the pocket,
Yeah.
and only run if you have to. You got guys at your feet, okay, take off.
Mhm.
But Kyler, he just kind of runs around, as soon as he gets the ball, he's already zooming around looking for
Mhm.
something, and that's hard to block for, but maybe Jacoby kind of is showing him, look, if you're steady in the pocket a little bit more, you can do some damage with this offense.
I think part of it, no offense, is maybe a little bit of the height. Batted
Yeah.
balls are at like an all-time high, and so for Kyler Murray, I think he has to. Hello.
Hey guys.
Okay, I didn't know we were going there. All right. Anyway, Jacoby being taller, he has a little more poise in the pocket. I think for Kyler, he can be a little uncomfortable and want to get himself some more space in the line of sight. Going back to
Yeah.
Harrison, with him going out, Damned if I've seen it 100 times. Zay Jones loves to fuck up the Colts a little, don't he?
Jeez.
He's
Yeah, I didn't
always,
even know he was there.
I didn't either.
I had no idea he was in
As
Arizona
soon as
until
I
it was
seen
like,
him catch
oh
one, I was
yeah,
like, well, here comes 3 or 4 more. It's just the way
yeah,
he does it.
yeah. Like, well, he's about to lead them in fucking receiving, and he did.
You put him on the field
But
against the Colts, and he turns into their number one receiver every time.
yeah,
It's
I don't
just,
know what it is about Zay fucking Jones. He did in Jacksonville. He killed us all the time.
yeah,
You know, and it's
kudos
just
to him.
I don't ever want to say I hate the guy, but I hate it when he's on the other side of the field.
It's a
Make
competitive.
make
We'll go
this
back
guy a
to
Colt. I mean,
competitive
bring him
nature.
here.
Yeah, competitive nature. We see him and we know, crap. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to the game in London. London.
Oh.
What a shit game that was in London. And they paid regular price for that game. I bet they're over there like this. Where's the Jags at when you
Yeah.
need them?
Yeah, I saw somewhere that's the worst thing that we've done to London since 1776. And I don't disagree.
I put
That
on
was
here. I put on here
bad.
Broncos escape London. And
They
honestly,
did.
if there was ever a time that the J&K show would reach Mr. Colin Cowherd, did you see that game, Colin? The Broncos are the third best team in the league. You better
You
change
think?
your damn rankings because that is
Better.
absurd. And we've been telling you this.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot watch the 0-5 Jets give a great defensive performance against the Denver Broncos and get turnovers. And the Jets, they had nothing going on offense, and they still had a chance to win. We're talking one of the worst offensive performances of the entire season. It
Yep.
truly was one of the worst offenses I have seen put out there. They got nothing going. Credit to Denver's defense. 9 sacks on them. They finished with minus 10 passing yards for the Jets.
Yeah. Minus 10 net passing yards.
And they
Yeah,
could have won. They could have still won the game.
yeah.
That
The
is
only Denver's special teams gave them 9 points basically.
I'm here to say it, I don't care that they beat the Eagles. And here's why I don't care. Because on a short week, the Giants beat the Eagles. And you know what I think? Bold take. I think the Giants are every bit as good as the Broncos. I do.
Putting some stank on it, bud.
I don't think the Broncos are worth a fuck. I think Sean Payton is an aggressive coach, and when it works out, they look great. And when it doesn't work out, they look like shit. Bo Nix is good, and he's young, but they don't have amazing weapons. They have okay weapons. They are a mid-tier team, and the Giants are on the come-up. Right now, they would probably rank the Broncos like Cowherd did at 3, and they'd probably put the Giants at like 22. And I'm here to say they're both right there outside the top 10. They're probably about 11 and 12 in the league, in my opinion.
Yeah, if you wipe out those first 3 weeks where Dart wasn't starting, you got to look at kind of if you take that away and you look at what they've done since he's been the starter, 2-1. Yeah, I would probably have them somewhere around the mid-teens.
Yeah,
right now, and I would definitely right now put Denver, if not just outside of the top 10, I would have them at 10.
They struggled against Tennessee. They struggled against the Jets. They lost to us. They lost to the Chargers, but they beat Philly. So they're the third best team. That's an indictment on the entire NFL league. That's you telling the entire league, guess what? I only see 2 teams in the league. I see the Lions and the Bucks, I believe, were the top 2. I don't see anyone else. It can be anyone else at 3. Who cares? You get to the podium if you're third. You're indicting it on the entire league if you're thinking the Broncos are third. It is awful. That is trash. What a trash take.
Yeah, definitely not. And I don't know if anybody saw that coming. But I mean, the Jets played inspired defense. At least you can say that.
Yes,
they got their first 2 takeaways and they almost won. That I thought I kind of got puckered up a little bit when they got that safety, and I was like, "Oh, this is nice."
That's what I'm saying.
Like, oh man, they're about to give this away. But I mean, granted, that Denver defense that's a number 1 defense right now. I I'm not barring anybody.
I
I do
agree. The
believe
Denver's
that's the best
defense,
defense in the
they
league.
don't win that game without being maybe the best defense. Like they actually have to
Yeah.
be. Like this defense, this team, the way they played against the Jets, it looked a lot like a Tim Tebow Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
There was nothing
That,
on offense. They were dropping every little pass for 3 yards. They were completely out of sync. I mean, this is how the Jets offense went for them, and they almost won this game. They get a fumble on the Denver Broncos, which is in field goal range. They finish with a field goal. They get a really nice
mm,
kick return, which gets them in field goal range. They settle with a field goal. They have one okay drive after the half. They get a field goal. And then they get that safety, which is a hold in
mm,
the back of the end zone, which is a special team setup, which then is an offensive mistake by the Broncos. They scored 11 points by happenstance, and they could have won the game. That is an
yeah.
indictment on the Denver Broncos. They had 20 first downs in the whole
Mm,
game, 12-8.
yeah.
It was a defensive
Yeah.
shootout, slugfest, with the worst team in football at 0-6.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention that whatever the hell that blunder was at the end of the first half with the Jets, I don't know what they
What if they
had
get
going
points
on.
there?
They should have at least have been able to attempt a long field goal
Yes.
if they would have played the clock right. And Aaron Glenn's gonna eat shit for a couple days on that, and
Yep.
he should learn something from that. We
Mhm.
shouldn't see that again.
Yeah.
But as much I think we've been more than generous with Justin Fields so far this season, at least me and you. But
You
I
can't lose
gotta
them.
kind of start giving him a little bit of flack.
Mhm.
I know the offensive line there is bad. I mean, they have been playing bad all year.
Yeah. 9
But
sacks.
and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, and not all 9 sacks were on the line.
Mm-mm. Some are
Fields
him holding the
held the
ball
ball
waiting.
for a long time.
Yeah.
He had some reads that were open. Some maybe not down the field, but I mean they were good 4 or 5 crossing
Mhm.
routes. Where they were 5, 6 yards in, and he could have gotten rid of the ball and at least made a completion, maybe, but he held it and just ate a sack.
Yeah.
And it's like,
He did.
okay, now you got to start kind of putting a little bit of the blame towards him. It was like, when they were getting sacked 2 or 3 times a game, then okay, you can sit there and say, okay, the line played like shit. It's not all Fields, because he would still throw for over 200 yards. But he had a combined 45 yards, 9 completions. They had as many sacks as he had completions. How sad is that?
I've never seen anyone finish with -10 passing yards for their team. Like he
Never.
had, obviously, I think he had 65 passing yards, or was it 50,
45.
55 or 45? And they had 55 in sack yards. So they finished with a
Mm-hmm.
-10 for team
Yeah.
passing.
Yeah.
And the combined was 7 for 30 on third down for these two teams combined. A lot of three
Mm-hmm.
and outs. I mean, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And Cal Hurd, he's going to come on here today or tomorrow, whatever. He's going to be like, it was a London game. I mean, it was jet lag. And I was like,
Mm.
they did this with Tennessee. They played with their fucking food then. Now, when we play with our food, we score 31 fucking points because we're
Yeah.
really good at a lot of things and we make mistakes on occasion. The Broncos are not really good at a lot of things. They are not really good. They have a really
Yeah.
good defense, but they are an okay passing offense, and they're a maybe a little better than okay running offense. But if you play a good defense, then they have to rely on theirs to do something for them. Their offense can be
Yeah.
absolutely stymied, and that's important to know. This is a Sean Payton run offense, and we're just over ranking the shit out of the Broncos. It is
Yeah.
absurd.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna have them a few spots back this week. So,
They're not in my
um,
top five, not even close.
no, I wouldn't have them in my top 10 right now.
No.
But um, I think the Jets gave everybody some good tape to play against them, because they played them very well. They
Mhm.
schemed them really well. So
Yes.
I'll give Aaron Glenn credit for that.
Yes.
But everything else was just dog shit, and it's just inexcusable, especially to the poor clock management at the end of the first half.
There are
You can't
certain
do that.
Yeah. There are certain teams right now that we're looking at and we're saying, hey, in fantasy football, play your offensive guys because of who you're going against. And this is one of those matchups that we would be like, hey, play your Broncos, play your
Hmm.
Dobbins, your Sutton or Mims. Play your Franklin maybe in a flex if you need to because of buys. Play your Broncos. They're playing the Jets. You would have gotten shit on if you played the Broncos players this week.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just no, you can't do that.
Yeah, I'm so glad I didn't play Franklin this week. So glad. It was a toss up going into,
Yeah.
Saturday night. I was like, oh man, should I? But yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to do it because outside of the game against the Colts, he hadn't done anything.
It would be one thing, like for me, I'm like, you know what? They turn the ball over, things happen, whatever. But what should have happened was the Broncos should have had like 300 or 400 yards of offense, like they did against the Bengals.
Should have. Yeah.
Right? It's okay. You turn it over, you make a mess of the game. It's still sloppy and it's still close because of it. That's one thing. But they not only did they make a mess of the game at times, but they had nothing going. There was no momentum, no rhythm the whole game. They had almost nothing going. It's like, no, come on.
Yeah, and it's like neither team could get going. You couldn't.
No.
I'm outside of that one touchdown drive for Denver. That's like the only drive that looked good from either
There's so
team.
many teams better than the Broncos. So, Cowherd, fix your freaking lineup. Fix your ranking.
Fix it and lay off the booze.
Going into the next one, I named it cardiac arrest because I noticed in the game, the Rams, their field goal kicker, Cardi, no trust. He missed an extra point. He missed a field goal. They were talking about him a lot in the commentary. They get to a 4th and 3 with a 17-3 lead in the red zone, like the 12-yard line, and they're just like, fuck it, we'll go for it.
Fuck it.
No trust in that guy. And then with the other side, the Ravens, 3 points. Their season is absolutely, I would just call it, they're absolutely done. So cardiac arrest. They're on life support.
Yeah, they got some guys back. They got Roquan Smith and I think it was Kyle Hamilton back, and their defense played a lot better than we've seen them play. And the Rams aren't shit on offense. We know that. We know better than that.
Yep.
But
if you played your Rams, you were disappointed this week.
Oh, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. But, Puka going down with whatever it was, an ankle. Now he's going to be out. So that kind of helped him out a little bit. But then, but I mean, overall, they played good, but I heard this, I don't remember, I was on the radio earlier, it didn't make sense in the off season for Baltimore to bring in a Cooper Rush because he doesn't run that style of offense. And
as in he's slow.
He can run a little bit, but no. I mean he's not at Central Michigan anymore.
They look a lot better with Huntley.
They look so much better with him because he runs that offense.
Yep.
He's been running that offense, and it's like, why did you waste your money to bring in a Cooper Rush when he's not? That's not your system.
They're on bye next week.
They're on bye this week.
So like he would actually have
Lamar should be back though.
Yeah, Lamar should be back.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't want to rush him back and you want to give him another week, why are you not starting Huntley, man? I mean, everything looked so much more in sync. It looked more organic to have him back there. So I don't know why they did what they did. I mean, obviously, I think there's a lot of proof now that it's not going to work if you play Cooper Rush. So you kind of just have to swallow that and just be like, yeah, you're going somewhere other than here.
You know what I thought of right away was like, you know what? If the 49ers trade Mac Jones to someone wanting to give him a shot for next season or something, Cooper Rush would be great as a backup for the 49ers. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That style, that play action kind of pocket presence that's his vibe. And even in Dallas, that's a better vibe. But like, no, you're right. Baltimore, totally different scheme. And it's so rough and thunder running backs and then kind of get out in the numbers. And it's just not his style. It's just not.
No. Yeah. So I don't know why that experiment even had to happen.
No.
So it didn't make sense. He looked really bad in the games that he filled in for Lamar.
Yeah.
He looked bad yesterday.
And they lost a couple because of that decision. I mean.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to plan on doing if Lamar's even going to come. I would imagine Lamar's going to pitch to play, he's
Yeah.
going to want to do it because they may be 1-5, but I think, if they get the right guys healthy at the right time, they can make a push to be a
Mhm.
wild card team. I don't think the division is even in sight right now, but they
Agreed.
could make that push. If they only lose one more game
Yeah.
or maybe 2 games at the most, you could get in at a 10-7.
Hmm.
So I,
And that's
maybe it'll
because
happen.
Lamar is so good.
Yeah.
We have seen him go 4 touchdowns almost every week and just be on fire. I mean, honestly, if he got hot enough, he would get himself back in an MVP conversation. I don't think he could win, but he would be talked about like, oh,
Yeah.
third, fourth, fifth. Like he would be in a discussion where he's like, oh, if he'd have started hotter, he'd probably win. So yeah, we know
Yeah.
how good he is. I feel like the dysfunction from the team this year spells for the ultimate disaster. 4th and goal in that game, I just felt like the fact that they did not score right there on the 4 times when Derrick
Hmm.
Henry, and Derrick Henry had a good game. He had 120 yards rushing. He had a good game.
Yeah.
They could
Imagine
not
that.
get in the end zone on that. And I just thought, what a demoralizing thing for the Ravens. Like, they should and have probably scored 95% of those. Before Derrick
Mm,
Henry, they were scoring those. It's like,
yeah.
wow, like that had to hurt the psyche that the Rams really just no. They don't get shut out of the end zone on that. The
Mm,
Ravens?
yeah. Yeah. But give credit to the Rams, man. They held him. They
Jared
held him.
Verse.
Jared Verse, man. Yeah. How nice is he?
He's so good. He's
Good.
up and coming. You're gonna have to start talking about him.
Hmm.
He's coming.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers, he had a bad game. 2 fumbles.
2 fumbles.
That was
That
tough.
never happens. Well, at least with him,
Fumbled.
he's usually really, really good with the ball. He's really secure.
He fumbled one where he had caught the pass. He's trying to get extra yards and trying to dip and dodge. The other one, he
Hmm.
just missed the handoff on a jet sweep, and it's like,
Hmm.
wow, like man, I was like,
Yeah.
man, he's probably kicking his ass on that. Like that was tough.
Yeah. You feel bad for him, especially, I'm not going to be mad at somebody if they fumble and they're trying to
Yeah.
fight for a couple extra yards,
You're doing
Hindsight's
it.
always 20/20 on those. You're always going to say just go down, but that's the competitive nature of these guys. They're going to fight for every yard because every yard matters.
Yes.
So I'm not going to be upset with that, but put the ball away when you're going to jet sweep, you got to put it away. So those definitely hurt him, but it was nice to see that they actually did remember that Derrick Henry was a part of the team and he was able to get 24 carries instead of 8 or 12.
I think that was the
So
idea with Cooper Rush. It was like, well, we're going to ground and pound. And I'm like, yeah, but this is the first game you did that.
yeah, well, see, when you have Lamar or you even have Huntley back there, they're a threat to run, so you can't just sell out on
Mm-hmm.
Henry. You can't just
Correct.
do that. But Cooper Rush is not a threat to roll out,
It
so
is it is
it's
surprising
easier
that
to lock in.
with Huntley on the team, and I think I'm trying to remember, he was trying out and trying to get run with somebody else. I can't remember if it was Miami. It was Miami last year. He was trying to get caught on with somebody else.
This is Cleveland, right?
Yeah, it was Cleveland. He come in for like a week.
Yeah,
The Ravens pick him up, maybe when Lamar goes down, but like for Huntley, I'm like, a part of me is like, how does he not just go automatically right in with the history? That one's tough. I know you've been making Cooper Rush the backup, and so he's also prepared because of recency. But man, Huntley though,
yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me why. Because don't forget, Huntley was in the fucking Pro Bowl just a couple years ago. Yeah, he might have been an alternate,
right?
but he still went to
Only
the
like
fucking
that
Pro
whole
Bowl.
year with Lamar out, and
Yeah,
he fucked around
yeah,
and got some wins. We all looked at him and thought, hey, that's actually a legit backup quarterback right now. Like he's actually legit.
yeah. He's probably Baltimore's best second option, and I don't know why they went away from that. And maybe you could just say, okay, well, maybe with Lamar out, we can try to maybe see if we can adjust to a pro style on the fly, just in
Yeah.
case he does go out.
think they want
and
to
then maybe we could have
Mhm.
your prototypical standard quarterback come in and play. That's just not them, dude. They have been building this offense for 10 years basically
Yeah.
to fit Lamar and his style, and they've knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. They wanted to
But
show a different wrinkle and style because they're like, well, we have
yeah,
Hopkins, we have Bateman, we have Zay, we have a good tight end, we got a running back. We should be able to pro style this up. But those guys, none of those guys are used to that type of
no,
scheme and style. They don't flow that way.
no, and I don't understand why. I don't. If that was a Harbaugh decision, then I mean, he's
Mhm.
just outsmarted himself. It's one of those overthinking it,
Yeah.
trying to do too much when you don't have to do anything at all. You could have. I don't. I honestly don't know why they go out and do that move with Rush. I mean, just Huntley, and then maybe get somebody for the practice squad. Cooper Rush can run a practice squad because hell, half the league does a pro style anyway.
I think
But
Cooper
you
Rush is
want
good enough.
somebody.
Cooper Rush is good enough.
He's
He
not
gets
bad.
hit
He's
by
not bad. Don't
someone,
get me wrong.
I think.
Don't get me wrong. I like Cooper Rush as a backup. He's great. But in that specific style of offense, that's just not his game, and
Mhm.
he doesn't look organic back there. It just looks
Mhm.
like, if he was trying to run that option offense, that's just
Mhm.
not what he's used to. That's not what we've seen him run before.
Mhm.
So that's just an odd move, and it looks like a bad one, at least at this point.
Yep, I agree. Well, the segue to Cooper Rush's former team, Dowdle. Dowdle did it again.
Daryl
How in the fuck? I'm so tired of the
Rico
Panthers.
Wabe.
You know what?
Yeah, I am too.
They're 3-3. I'm gonna start to treat them like an actual NFL team. I'm gonna try to ignore everything I've
How
seen.
dare you?
I am. I'm gonna try to ignore everything that I've seen them do this year, and I'm gonna try to think of them off of 3-3. They can run the
Mm-hmm.
ball. Their quarterback can move the ball and can throw picks, and their defense can be good at times. That's how I have to treat them like a 3-3 team. They are
Yeah,
trash, but they did it again.
they did. I mean, I don't know what they got going on. Who I know,
There's
I don't remember their coach's name. I know he was a OC in Tampa. Uh, for whatever his name is
no.
eluding my brain right now.
I didn't think he was
But
going to stick around long enough to learn his name.
yeah, I didn't either.
Sorry.
Kudos to them. I mean, they are riding that run game, and that run game looks so much better with
Yeah.
Rico Dowdle.
I Does
I
Chuba Hubbard,
Chuba
where does
who
he go? Yeah. Where does he go when
I'm
he's healthy? I mean, he'll be their
to the
backup.
second string. I
Rico
mean, you have to. I think you
Rico
have to.
looks
He looks so much better.
he
You know,
looks like so good though. Like I'm already like the way he's looked, he wants to fuck around and be a top 10 running back. Like he looks
yeah,
that good
he's already there in 2 games.
because of all the yards he got in 2 damn games.
Yeah, yeah, he's just shy of 400.
We had
Uh,
404 with JT, like a solid 100 a game, and he's over here popping two a game, and it's like, what?
yeah, averaging 190 a game. That's pretty good.
What's worse is
But
Dallas's big indictment was they never have a running game, and they let Dowell go, and they got
yeah,
outrushed. They got outrushed 220 some yards to like 30.
yeah, it was
Devontae
pathetic.
didn't do shit. They couldn't run the ball against Carolina.
Yeah,
If you can run the ball and not let the other team run the ball, these are the kind of results you could be getting on a weekly basis. Like I have to treat
yeah,
that way.
yeah, yeah. I agree. It's Carolina's one of those teams where they will let you throw on them
Mm-hmm.
all day long,
I don't care.
and they will let you score. But
Yeah,
they're going to say, you know what? The third quarter and fourth quarter is going to be for us.
right. Garbage
We're
time
going to
is
do
what
it.
we do. We got this.
Garbage time is their time. If they can get their defense to hold another team under 25 going into the fourth quarter, hell, you got to like where they're going. You got to like their position.
It's
But
ironic because for Carolina, they're like, we know we're going to stop you running the ball. So when you get this big lead, you ain't going to run that damn clock out on us. You're going to have to throw it
nope.
some more.
Yeah, you're going to
What?
have to throw it. And granted, Dak Prescott had another great game. He
Great
looked
game.
great. He
But
3 tuds, no turnovers.
the
So
problem I noticed
Pickens went
was
off.
Pickens, Dak to
So
Pickens. You look at the rest of that team, though. Pickens and Dak, they're basically 70% of all yards for that game. Like, there was nothing else. There was no other rushing. There was no other
mhm,
catches. Only like 80 some yards went to any other receivers, including Ferguson.
yeah,
They didn't run the ball. So, like, they had like all the yards between the two of them. And it's like, God, did the Panthers make them one dimensional? Did that really happen?
yeah, yeah. It looked like it, and that's what you're going to have to do. If you can take away, as bad as it feels to say, if you can take away Dallas's run game,
Mm-hmm.
you can beat them, and I mean that's all you got to do.
Like,
But
oh
because
man.
Dak can throw for 261 and 3 touchdowns, have a rating of 124, and they can still lose. So
Yeah.
it's like you look at it, and you think, okay, well Dallas scored 27 points against Carolina. They came away with a win. Well, no, they didn't.
And Jerry
So
Jones. Oh,
I don't know if it's coaching or what.
I need to trade Micah Parsons and get a more interior stopping guy in the run. Did they even give up 200 yards rushing to one player last year? Like, where
I
the
don't think
fuck was
so.
Kenny Clark at there?
Yeah, I have no idea, but Jerry will still tell you that they won the trade.
Yeah, in 2 years we might start to think that's a possibility, but you don't have those
Yeah.
players on the field right now.
No. Yeah, and they need to make definitely need to make a move on defense, and I mean now. Because if you get CD back here in 2 or 3 weeks, Dallas is going to put up points.
Yeah,
If he's already getting this out of George Pickens,
their offense
CD
isn't.
comes back, their offense is going to be humming.
Yes.
So, but if your defense is not getting the other team off the field
Yeah.
at least 3 or 4 times a game, you're not going to be able to outscore everyone every week, and the team is going to get just fucking wore out. So,
And
if you're Dallas, if you're anybody in that organization, you have got to be going to Jerry all the time and just going upside his head if you
good
have
Lord,
to.
it
Look,
help us.
we need either one interior guy to like a Vita Vea kind of like player,
Mm-hmm.
or you need to get a Max Crosby down there
Mm-hmm.
or something. You
Yep.
need something like that down there, and that I think would probably be enough
Yeah.
to allow them to start putting wins together and to make a run at Philly, because right now Philly is the cream of that division. I would say the Giants are probably right behind them, and then the Commanders, Dallas is at the bottom.
Commanders tonight. We'll
So
see how they play, but the Commanders. I mean, if the Eagles fuck around too much, the Commanders could take that division out from under them. But yeah, I
yeah,
would. I would say for the Cowboys, yeah, the biggest indictment I thought was late in that game. The Panthers went on like a 6 minute drive to win that game. They just
yeah,
I mean, every
ran it
time
down their
Seattle
throats.
touched the ball, it was like for 7 fucking yards. I'm
Yeah.
like, is this a college game? Are we watching a JT or a old school Judkins, Trent Richardson's, like
Mm-hmm.
just these guys that just Alabama type dudes, Mark Ingram, we just hand the ball off 7 yards, hand it off 7 yards. They
Mm-hmm.
finished the game with 225. We got like Darren McFadden of Arkansas. Like, are we really watching a college game or what? Like Dallas had nothing for a guy they
Yeah.
knew. This was a guy they knew. This wasn't Chuba. This wasn't some random young running back who's like a Gibbs and they just can't stop him. This was Rico Dowdle, who they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah.
gashed them. For this is 2 weeks in a row. Now I'm like, Panthers are kind of a real team. Like, I don't know what else to think.
Yeah. Well, if they can
Come
keep
on.
up that run game, and if you can take the ball out of Bryce Young's hands, Carolina's got a shot to
Yeah.
win. And if they keep that run game up, they can win a few games that probably they're not supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that if they have any sort of hunger to
Mm-hmm.
win football games, then you absolutely got to keep Dowdle as the starter, or at least get the bulk of the carries, because
Mm-hmm.
Chuba Hubbard wasn't doing anything near this.
And
So
he's had good games though. Like so
he's had
he's the
good
guy that
games, yeah.
showed you the potential of having a good running game. Like they could have a good running game. But Dowdle, it's like,
Hmm.
wow, they could have a great running game.
Yeah. Yep. And this could
Hmm.
be, this could be their new two-headed monster.
Right.
You
That's
know,
what I was just wow, Buzz. I was gonna say. Like
so
they could have a
you
Detroit
know,
Lions scenario where they have two monsters at running back, and they're just like,
hmm
"Holy shit, we're good at this. Let's just do it more and more. Let's run 35 times a game and throw it 20."
yeah, yeah, because we're like just kind of like back in the day when they had D'Angelo Williams
Yeah,
um
Jonathan Stewart.
and them, and Jonathan Stewart. Yeah, it's just that's kind of like
Hmm.
I that's what kind of came into mind when it was like, okay, well, they got two dudes now.
Hmm.
Two guys that can do some damage. Dowdle, I think, is more of the D'Angelo guy, kind of the more stocky guy,
Yeah.
and Chuba would be the smaller, shifty Stewart.
Hmm.
It's like, holy crap, if you can get a quarterback worth of fuck, if you can get anything out of Bryce Young, then I think,
Yeah.
I think that this team could be really, really good if they can get
Yeah.
consistent play like this.
And if Carolina fucking has an egg this week, I'm gonna lose it, man.
They'll get beat 45-10.
Shout out to McMillan, rookie, got his first touchdown of his career. And I thought the most impressive thing, there was a little bit of maturation in it for me. Bryce Young threw that very quick slant pass right over the middle on 4th and 3. It was a hike, boom. I mean, and I thought, okay, that's probably not a pass he could have made in the past. Like that's the confidence of reading the play pre-snap. That's the confidence of the guys with him. Just the rhythm they had in that game. And I'm like, they legitimately beat the Dallas Cowboys. Like Dallas gave them a lot to deal with on offense. Carolina did well at times, but Carolina did enough on offense, and they, again, 6-minute drive. I'm like, they just actually beat them. There wasn't like one specific thing the Cowboys were like, oh, they let them off the hook on a turnover. Like, no, they got the ball tied, drove their ass down the field, won the game.
Yeah, that was a signature drive for Bryce for sure. And that's something that maybe he'll get more confidence after that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, kudos to them. I mean, but they seriously need to quit pissing me off and make up their fucking mind. Are we gonna suck or are we gonna be viable?
Exactly
do something. They are the most Tourette's team in the league right now.
Yeah, like you said, 45-10. I'm like, I don't know who they play. And it also doesn't matter sometimes. Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they I don't know who they play. Maybe it's the Saints or something. I don't know. But
yeah, we'll see.
My God, they need to make up their damn mind.
All right. For the next one, I have the D is too much in Duval.
Yep.
Seattle's defense looked great. I keep telling you. I know we talked earlier
McDonald,
about
dude.
The Broncos D. Oh, look, Seattle. I am telling you, they have a top 5 defense. 7 sacks on Trevor Lawrence, and honestly, Jags' offense has hummed a lot this year. They have really looked good, and Seattle really, really bothered them this week.
Yeah, at least their rushing attack. They couldn't run for shit.
Couldn't run the ball, and there were 7 sacks. Woo.
Yeah, and Seattle didn't run the damn ball either.
No, they did not.
When you have Sam Darnold, you don't have to run. I mean, you have Sam Darnold and JSN, dude. You don't have to run the ball at all. You can just load it up. It's one of those bucket. He's out there somewhere.
I want to say, remember way back when he said, "I'm seeing ghosts out there." How far back does that feel?
It feels like decades.
So
it really does.
I thought about, okay, someone who conquers ghosts. Okay, I'm trying to think. And then I thought, Pac-Man, he eats ghosts in the game. Sam Pac-Man Darnold.
Pac-Sam?
Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, no, he's definitely come a long way from seeing the ghosts and being that guy, which I think everybody, at least for the next probably 5 to 10 years, anytime we see bad quarterback play on either New York team, we have to tell ourselves they just need to go somewhere else. If they go somewhere else, I'm before I give up on them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you don't want to say, well, yeah, Daniel Jones, he looked like a bust. He looked like he wasn't going anywhere. So what can you say now? He went somewhere else. He's doing really well. Sam Darnold, same damn thing. He went to Carolina, and then somewhere San Francisco after that, and then he went to Minnesota. Resurgence.
Mhm.
So coaching fucking matters. It really, really does. And
Didn't he
you've
go to
got to
Carolina?
start.
Did he go to Carolina?
Yeah, he went to Carolina with Baker.
Okay.
And then he went to the Niners for a year, and then he went to Minnesota last year.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you go to Carolina, where we already know that the system there is horrid.
Some places
But
just
then you
don't grow
go,
quarterbacks all that often, right? The
yeah,
organization
yeah,
and the what they put behind a quarterback, they just don't have the right pieces, like the right
no,
tenacity and the mindset, and you can just tell. And Dart,
yeah,
bless his heart, I hope Dart can change the scenery in Giants. And Eli Manning had done it, so
yeah,
that one's more possible. But for Fields, you see the regression to some extent. And you're just like, yeah, damn it, the organization is getting to him, and they're not able to do quarterback. And Darnold got away,
yeah,
thankfully.
yeah. I don't know. Dayball did so good with Josh Allen.
Yeah,
And when he
had
goes
a
to New
moment.
York, you're kind of thinking like that first year with Daniel Jones, they looked great together.
Yes, he had a
Daniel,
moment with
they
him.
came back. He won a playoff game for God's sake. But then like
Yeah.
something happened the next year, where something fell off, and then the
Mhm.
next year again he gets hurt, something falls off, and they go away. And Darnold gets 1 year with Shanahan and 1 year with uh, KOC. Man, it's like, what do these guys know that other people don't? Because
Right.
they have a formula. They have a formula. Now, Steichen looks like he has that formula too.
Right.
But you just have to have the right guy.
You have to.
So you have to get the right guy. So Richardson, his combine was off the charts.
Mhm.
So of course take a flyer on him. You have to see what you can do. But it
Based on
failed.
who
He's
we
just not
had,
the right guy.
based on
Yeah,
who we
based
had
on
in
who
the
we had.
room, it's like it made sense
Yeah,
to take a shot at Richardson for sure.
absolutely, yes. But now I think we have our guy, and I think we have our backup, because I think Riley Leonard is another Daniel Jones type of player.
I love Riley Leonard. I'm telling you.
He's deceptively tall. You don't think he's that tall when you see him on TV, but you get into real life and you see him. It's like, oh shit, you're like 6'3", 6'4".
He gives
Damn.
me the like a Baker vibe, like where he's kind of
Mm-hmm.
quiet, but he's like gamer.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's in the game, I feel his energy when I watch him on the tape.
Yeah.
I feel the energy on the screen. So I really like Riley. I'm very happy with that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry for Richardson, obviously, but that
Well,
happens
hey,
with a lot of guys out there in the league.
it
Like you
does.
said, he's going to need a change of scenery probably, unless he wants to embrace something different here.
Yeah. He's definitely going to have to. But getting back to Sam Darnold,
Mhm.
a lot of people, and now it kind of makes Minnesota look foolish for not keeping him around. But at the same time, it's like, we have who we think is going to be our guy for the future, so
Right.
we have to get him on the field. So we
They
can't have
could
you
have.
both here.
So to be
But
fair too, with Sam Darnold, they went and got JJ and Sam at the same time. So I think a part of them was pleasantly surprised at how well they made Sam Darnold. They're like,
yeah.
"Oh wow, we're really good at this." But damn, we didn't really know we were going to be that really good. So
Yeah.
what do we do
Yeah.
now? Do we paid Sam, and then what do we do with JJ? And so they kind of screwed themselves a little bit. They
A little
kind of
bit,
built
yeah.
a quarterback for someone else because the long term plan was really never to have him. He was a hedge
Yeah.
guy. So yeah,
Yeah, they're probably looking at it like, well, we should have signed him to a 2-year deal. But because now you get in 1 year, he balls out, and then it's like, I'm gonna want like 40 mil. So
yeah.
yeah, but he's going to Seattle, and kudos to him. He's still doing his thing. He's still playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle looks like their defense is their Legion of Boom is coming back a little bit.
A little bit.
So they made Jacksonville look pedestrian. So
Yeah.
the Seattle's going to be a tough out, man. And I think that this week at least, I'm probably going to move them up into my top 5.
Ooh. Okay.
Based on what I saw. I mean, you sacked Trevor Lawrence 7 times.
Wow. And he doesn't
I
hold
mean,
the ball
that's
that
noise.
long.
He doesn't.
He
Yeah,
holds the ball
that's a
some, but
surprise.
not enough. 7 is a large number. That's effort, tenacity, and just technique.
Quick. Yeah, that means you're getting there
I
quick
mean,
because
how
Lawrence
fast are some of their
Lawrence is good.
linebackers, like Nuosu? Their linebackers, some of them guys are just so damn fast.
Yeah, they are very fast.
They're like
And
large
I
safeties at linebacker.
yeah. Yeah, who would have thought, tall safeties and shit, works.
Yeah. Smith and Jigba also, he's turning into an Amon Ra type, like do it all. Like I don't know if his blocking is right there, but when I look
Mhm.
at him, he seems unassuming to some degree, but he can do everything. I always forget, oh, that's right, he can take the top off on a defense. And
Mhm.
just I'm like,
Yeah.
my God, he doesn't have a single way he can't beat you on his routes. I'm like, you have to guard all of them. What a weapon. I didn't really know he was going to turn into that when they had DK and they had Lockett. I was like, what a nice third option, like he's solid, nice and
Mhm.
young. He's an absolute one. Like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to have somebody over the top on him every play. I mean,
Yeah.
he's turning into that kind of guy where
You
you
have
need to
to
have two guys covering
double.
him at all times.
You have to bracket and
So,
double him on almost every one. Yeah, it's crazy.
yep. Yep. So, but he's still going to get his.
Mhm.
You can only hope to contain him, but he's going to make plays. He's going to do things. That's just how he is, and it's what he's going to do.
You're trying to keep him
So,
like an 8 for 55, like where it's real small, intermediate.
yeah,
You want to try to
give
make
him
him
short
Cooper
stuff all
Cup,
day.
him like Cooper Cup, where Cooper has become more of an intermediate, move the chains kind of guy. He's 7 for
Mhm.
55, 8 for 50 or 60. He's moving the chains
Yeah.
and getting those 6-7 yard catches. If you can make Smith and Jigba be that guy, then you might have a chance to beat him. But you can't let him take the top off.
No,
I
no.
thought for the Jags, they get that one score because they were a little out of it after scoring 6. They were down like 20-6 unanswered there.
Hmm.
They go for 2 when they have 12. And I don't understand the math behind it. I guess they got a penalty on their extra point or something, so they decide, oh,
Yeah.
a 2-point conversion from the one, and I'm like, hold on, Seattle's defense has been awesome. I don't understand the math. So they wanted to go for 2 so that they could win with the next touchdown. I'm like,
Mhm.
why don't just kick the extra point? Because now you would
Well,
have to have the 2-point conversion just to tie.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just kind of an odd way to think about.
Cam Little had a rough game.
Is
Yeah, he
that
he
why?
already he missed a PAT. He missed a field goal.
And so they were afraid.
They were probably afraid. They didn't have any trust in him. It's like, okay, your guys are gonna miss an extra point.
Yeah.
A couple times a year, probably. You're not gonna make every single one. So I don't see why you would freak out. And
Yeah.
if you go away from your kicker, you think that's going to help his fucking confidence at all? So, I mean, way to take him out of the game automatically. So now he's going to come in this week and, they got the Rams in London, this week. So it's like, okay, is he going to kick with any confidence
How
this week?
crazy is that? Both teams gave up on their kicker in the game. I didn't even realize that. And now they're flying to
Yeah.
London. One of them's going to need their kicker. Which one's going to do it? Like both teams.
Yeah, they may try
4
to
points. 4.
They may try to recruit somebody from Tottenham or somebody over there.
They're both calling the
Madrid
Giants
or some shit.
They're both calling the Giants and they're saying, "Hey, is Younghoe Koo available on that practice squad?"
Yeah. Send in the young hole.
Younghoe. That's just about it from that game. There wasn't a lot of stuff. I thought the toot and run on the 2-point conversion, I just didn't like it. But otherwise,
Yeah, it
that
was
was
a
about it.
bad.
Neither team could run. I guess I didn't like the play call either. Neither team was running the ball, and they actually said, "You know what? Fuck it, let's run." I'm like,
let's try one last time. It'll work this time, guys.
Yeah, Liam Cohen, man. Sometimes he's not going to be all in there in the head. I mean,
yeah, well, that proved it.
Moving on to the next game, I put Herbie fully loaded.
Boo.
Oh, boo!
Boo!
The Dolphins were way out of this game, and then suddenly the Dolphins had this game. They had it.
Mm-hmm.
They let him off the hook. 46 seconds
they did
left.
let him off the hook.
Wow.
Well, I mean, let's not. I wouldn't say the Dolphins gave it away as much as Justin Herbert
Well,
took it.
Cam Phillips, or
So
I think his name's Cam. I can't remember, but something Phillips. He has to make that tackle. He slid off him, and this
mhm.
when I watched the slow mo, I'm like, he fell off him like kind of easy. Like he never really had a good grip. And I'm saying you literally let him off the hook. You had him,
Yeah,
and you
you
just
had him, but Herbert is deceptively strong. He is hard to bring down. I
yeah,
mean, he had both legs hooked,
yep.
and he still said, "Dude,
It's
come on,
like,
I'm trying to make a throw."
come on, man.
And he just yeah.
What a play
And
by
what about
Ryan.
man Hassan Haskins, man? What running down the field making that block too. I mean,
Yeah.
that was just hustle.
Hey, but
Hustle. It was just a play.
he got outperformed. Monty Vidal with
Yeah.
124 rush yards. You kind of felt like one of them is going to break in half that game. But I think most
Mhm.
people would have said Haskins. I know you would have. Vidal, man, he seemed like a gamer. Like I was like, fuck, if
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
gonna take 20 to
Weird.
12 on touches. Like he's not letting go of those touches. Like,
No,
damn.
I mean he was possessed. I
Yeah.
didn't see that coming.
He
I
gave me some
figured
Eckler vibes.
yeah, it looked like that, old school Darren Sproles and shit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He
It
was a little.
was it was like, "Oh shit, I've seen this from the Chargers before."
Mhm.
But, yeah, that was surprising to see Haskins only get 6 carries,
Mhm.
but yeah, like Vidal was just he was a man on a
Mhm.
mission.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he did a lot more,
Yes.
with the ball. So,
Yep.
um and let's not, take too much away from the Dolphins. I mean, they were there, but,
I wish I had that
this will
hat.
be
Where
this
it
will be
says
a little what's that?
I said I wish I had that hat we used to have. Run the damn ball. They've run the
Run
damn
the
ball.
damn ball. I mean,
I
and
wish
they
I had that hat.
did. They did successfully. I mean, Achan, man, I mean, did what he looks like Achan from 2 years ago.
Yeah, he
So,
led the game in rushing, 128.
yeah, but a little bit of a rant here on Tua, man. He's 3 more turnovers, 3 more picks, and then to go up in the post game presser and then try to call your teammates out
Oh, I didn't see
is
that.
such a bad look. I mean, he was just saying, we got guys who are, when we have player only meetings, we got guys late to
Oh,
players only
I didn't
meetings,
see that.
guys not showing up to players only meetings. And it's like he's talking about leadership. It's like, Tua, you're making $50 fucking million. You are the leadership on that team.
Yeah.
You are who people are going to look to. You don't go out there and throw your MTV drama for the world to see. What you do is you shut that fucking door. You tell McDaniels to get his ass out. You shut that door and you light your team on fire. That's what you are
In house.
supposed to do. You
I
don't
agree.
do it in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
It makes him look like such a bitch.
To,
So
to his credit,
McDaniel, I
last
think I
week,
think at the end of the season, McDaniels is gone. Maybe even the GM is going to be gone, and that means Tua is probably going to be the one that gets left out too. So he's going to be owed money next year,
yeah.
but we have seen teams swallow more money than that to get rid of a guy, and then they can dump him on somebody else, and then they can talk another team into taking Tua. It's like, okay, well, will you take 10 million? Can you pay 10 million towards this contract? It's like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. So then they would only owe him 35 or 40. So, I could see that happening because I think right now Miami needs an overhaul, at least on at the quarterback position. So, there's no reason for him to be turning the ball over as much as he is and then try to hold other people accountable. He needs to be putting himself at the front of the accountability train. He
Yeah.
needs to be the one driving it.
I agree with most of what you say. I'm not ready to give up on Tua. Last week when they played the Panthers, he had about as clean a game as he could have. I think we said it here on the show. And I mean, he looked awesome. They still lost the game.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, at times, I would say for their 5 losses, more than half of those have been on their defense and not really on Tua. But that's not to say
Yeah,
that he hasn't made some mistakes in this season. He lost
a
two
lot of mistakes.
back-to-back games with a late minute interception that we noted here, to go from was a 0-2 and then 0-3. So they were losing games for that reason. But he had a great clean game last week and was definitely not the problem. Probably a better time to call your team out on missing meetings when you played that awesome and not
Yeah,
when you have 3
not this
turnovers. So
week.
I have to agree that was an in-house moment. Um, Somebody you hopefully don't call out, but he had a little bit of trouble. Jalen Waddle had himself a little too much popcorn because he has one catch early in the game that he hot potatoes right to the defender. And then the other
Yeah.
one, it was fortunate. He hot potatoed it right to his chest on the sideline before he slid out of bounds. But
Mhm.
yeah, he seemed like he was a little wobbly on his catches instead of waddly. But hopefully he's not calling out the wrong guys because there are guys out there that I can see are giving out a lot of effort. Achan's giving out quite a bit of effort. Waddle's
Yeah.
giving a lot of effort. Guys like Washington seem to be busting ass. So if he's calling anyone out, probably in locker, maybe you call your offensive line out. And maybe you call,
Yeah.
he probably shouldn't even say anything to the defense, but the defense is hurting
No.
them at times. So
Yeah, it is. But my opinion on this is last week Tua probably has what you could argue is his best game of the year. They still lose. This week he has one of his worst of the season. They still lose.
yep.
So it to me, honestly, it doesn't matter what Tua does. They're gonna lose. If they're gonna win a game, it's not gonna be because of him. It's gonna be because either A, the defense played poorly,
Mm-hmm.
or they're not running the ball. And McDaniels is calling a bad game, which I think if I'm Miami, I don't run the ball less than 25 times a game. I don't. If it doesn't matter if it's Ollie, it doesn't matter if it's Achan, it doesn't matter who's running the fucking ball, just do it.
Yeah.
Because Tua's not going to run the ball. He takes one hit the wrong way, his career's over. So you don't want to put him on an island like that. But you also don't, at this point, you don't want the game to be in his hands. So you kind of want to make sure that if you're going to win the game, you have to run the fucking ball. And then maybe that will open up some passing lanes for Tua to be more accurate and make better decisions with the ball, because right now he's turning it over way too much.
Yeah, I agree. I thought the Chargers looked really good. They bounced back. Part of that could just
Phenomenal.
be it could be who you play. Right now, we're realizing maybe the Panthers are actually middle of the pack, like they're not terrible. And now we know the Chargers are good. So sometimes, maybe when they play good enough to win a game, they just are playing someone a little bit better than them, and that's part of figuring it out. I mean, so if they play
Yeah,
Jets,
maybe.
they'll win, which they did. But you got to figure out how to
Yeah.
beat a New England, and you got to figure out how to beat a Raiders or a Bengals and these other teams. Like you got to figure out how to beat the Ravens if you play them. Like you got to figure out that situation.
Yeah.
You can't drop these
And
games
maybe,
a little bit better.
yeah, maybe they were on their way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tua just set them back a few weeks by doing what he did.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be guys that are probably going to give up, and they're going to be like, yeah, well, you know what? I'm not going to block this D lineman as long, and I'm going to maybe let a couple guys get through.
Oh,
Send a
what's
message.
ironic? Earlier in the year we talked about Tua being like a Brucey, and now you're bringing this up, and I'm thinking about longest yard again, and I'm going, what if when the ball gets hiked, the line doesn't block and he gets
Mm-hmm.
creamed,
Mm-hmm.
which is another longest
Oh,
yard. So you might be on to
the
something.
old Tua crew.
There
Yeah.
are teams in the NFL right now. There's probably 5 that I would say they would absolutely try to bring Tua in and pay
Oh
some
yeah.
of his salary. There are definitely landing spots for Tua.
Yeah. No, he's not worthless. He
No.
can go somewhere and he can play. You need to have him he's kind of like what we were talking about earlier with Cooper Rush.
Hmm.
You want to make sure that he's in that style of offense that he can run. He
Hmm.
can run Miami style of offense, and he's fine. It's just you got to get him somewhere where he can make better decisions,
Who
and you can get him better playmakers or something.
who would you trust to run the Carolina Panthers more, Bryce Young or Tua Tagovailoa?
Tua's a little bit taller, so I would say Tua could probably run. If you could probably switch those two, and they would be fine.
It's
Bryce
becoming
could probably go
close,
to Miami
right?
and have success. Yeah.
It's becoming a close conversation between those two because of what you're starting to see. You're like, well, okay, you give a good running attack, they can win a game. Achane, 128 yards, still lost. Like you're starting to see they're
Yeah.
getting a lot closer together on
Yep.
who you would rather have. So
Yeah. You could
anyway,
probably flip flop them, and they would be fine.
probably. All right. Moving on to the next game. Browns gonna Brown, man. I can't think of anything
Browns.
else to say. They couldn't run the ball. Steelers completely controlled them from the flip.
They're starting to look like Pittsburgh again.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
starting to look like Pittsburgh again.
Gabriel
The Browns are shit, but
Gabriel
they're
threw
starting to
it.
look like old school.
He threw it 52 times. Judkins ran it 12 in what really
Miserable.
was a close enough game to not go away from Judkins. You were sacked 6 times. And I'm looking at that, I'm going, that was a badly called game to some extent because you can't
Yeah.
allow that to happen. The 2 touchdowns, you shouldn't go away from it till the fourth quarter, really. Like that
Yeah,
wasn't
I
a
don't
good
know
job.
what you gotta put that one at Stefanski's feet.
Yeah. Fell in love with Gabriel.
Not a very good called game. It's just kind of like throwing the red flag in, late or early. It's like
Yeah.
you don't want to give up. You don't want Gabriel throwing the ball 50
No.
times.
Judkins has
If you
been what's
do, that just
convinced
automatically
to.
tells you we're done.
Yes.
Judkins is young.
Hmm.
He's got good legs on him. He may not be killing you with average. He's one step away from breaking a run every play.
Yes.
He's that caliber of player. He can
Has to
break
be
one
calm.
at any given time. So you got to keep feeding a guy like that. You
Yeah.
don't you don't just say, all right, well, we're going to run you a few times, and then if you run the ball 10 times and you don't have 40 yards, we're just done.
Yeah. And they
So
just don't have the
yeah,
pass catchers in Cleveland to throw it 52 times.
no,
That's
they
way too many.
they do, but they don't. They do, but they don't. Judy is a good receiver, but he's
Mhm.
not. I don't look at him as a playmaker.
Right.
Fannin is good, but
Up
he's
and
not a
coming.
playmaker. I would say the closest thing that they do have to a playmaker would be Judy,
Yeah.
but Ford is not terrible, but I just don't think that they're using them the right way. I think the concepts that they're running at receiver. I think the routes are taking too long to develop, and you just don't have the time. Especially Gabriel, as young as he is. Granted, he played 6 years in college,
Yeah.
but he just hasn't seen it at this speed, and he's not getting enough time back in the pocket to actually let the routes develop. And I think that's where they're getting in trouble.
Yeah. I agree. Obviously, the line wasn't able to keep the Steelers off of him very well. Um, Flipping to Pittsburgh, that Aaron Rodgers flip was awesome. I loved it.
Yep. Oh,
And
throw Rogan.
I just know that when he went to Pittsburgh and they were getting practiced up, he probably went and he saw somebody like on the field and he's like, "Who's that?" Yo, that's Darnell Washington. What position does he play? Tight end. Whoo, he does. Wow, that's great. I love that because really, him and Fryermuth, you should be double tight end. You have your other 2 receivers. You have a running back. That should be maybe your 50% of the game, your bread and butter. And
Mm-hmm.
he's such a big man, 6'7", 260.
He is a big
And
man.
when you target him and what you force against the other team and how they're going to cover him, they're going to do a safety or a linebacker. They don't know, like he's so damn big. I love that wrinkle. And if you're Tomlin, it's like, yes, if Rodgers, I feel like he would have picked him out. You got 2 good running backs you really like. You've got 2 solid receivers you can trust. DK is awesome, and you have 2
Mm-hmm.
tight ends. You're starting to build yourself a skill package that you can go 22 in a lot of ways. Pittsburgh's looking good, bud. 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking good.
Yep. A-Rod's looking good. Where in the hell? That's a question though. Is where in the hell has Fryermuth been? He's almost non-existent there anymore.
Yeah,
It's like he's more of a blocker. Like you said, Washington, man, he's such a big dude.
he's so
Like you can
assuming.
you can throw it to him, and dudes will just bounce right off of him,
When,
and you can
when
throw
they,
it up, and he'll go get it.
when Rodgers would throw the ball to like a DK or someone else, if it went far enough down I could always find Darnell as the ball was going by. I could find where
Yeah.
he was standing. He's just so damn big. You just
Yeah.
know where he's at every time. And then like big target for A-Rod, that's a good thing to have. It's just good.
Absolutely. But yeah, I Pittsburgh, they looked rough week 1, week 2, a little bit off against Seattle. But now that we know we've had some weeks go on, we know Seattle's got a great defense. So
Yep.
it's like, okay, well, maybe they didn't
That's a
look
really
bad.
good
Maybe
loss.
just Seattle's defense, is really good.
At 4-2,
So
the Steelers, that loss to Seahawks at 4-2 there, that's a good loss. I mean,
yeah, it's not a bad one.
would they be 5-0 if they had played someone else?
Yeah, they could be. But, Pittsburgh's looking like they're going to be a tough out again. And I mean, you should probably just go ahead and crown them AFC North champs right now.
Oh man.
But, it's still early, I get it, but I mean, the way things are looking right now,
they got it.
This is Pittsburgh's division to lose.
Yep.
So I mean, Cincy ain't going nowhere. Cleveland ain't going nowhere. Baltimore is the only team that I have any sort of faith in that can catch up. And right now, my faith is dwindling.
But even if they get
as well.
hot, like you were saying earlier, hard to believe they actually catch the Steelers in record.
Hard to believe.
They could get hot and still make playoffs. It could be a tough wild card out.
Yeah.
But hard to believe the Steelers would stumble enough to actually get passed up. That would mean the Ravens beat them both times they play, probably.
Yeah, and you do not want to fuck around and get Pittsburgh home field. You don't.
No,
that's going to be hard to go in there and win.
The Colts need to keep on notice with that as well.
Yeah, we've seen Aaron Rodgers fail at home in the playoffs a lot. And I'm sure that's where a lot of people would probably go. But it's a different time. It's a different city. It's a different vibe. It's a different team. So, anytime anybody in the AFC, back in the day will tell you going to Pittsburgh in January is not what you want to do.
It's not fun.
No. So, especially if that defense keeps getting better every week like they have been, watch the fuck out because they will. They're turning into the black and blue guys again.
Hey, so, and this is why you don't fire your coach.
This is why you don't do it. Have some fucking faith, people.
When you got the right guy, you got the right guy. Every single day shows you got the right guy. Sometimes the wins and loss column won't always show you if you have the right guy. Things can't break your way every time, but you can feel it here and you can hear it here. If you got the right guy. And it's like, no, don't ever talk about cutting Mike Tomlin loose. He will leave when he's good and fucking ready. And a lot of that can be said for like a John Harbaugh. It's just kind of the same vibe. Yes, you're having a really bad year, but you have had this much tenure for a John Harbaugh for a reason. Fucking stick to your guns. You have the right guy. If he's ready to leave,
and that's usually when you can tell a team has had it too good for too long.
Yeah.
Because you have that just one season of adversity or maybe two.
And there's like,
everything's on fire. We got to sell the house. No, you don't. You just need to stay the course. Things are going to have injuries happen.
Yeah.
You got to get through those. Last year they did not like their quarterback situation. They just didn't. They couldn't do anything about it. They just had to go with what they had. Those were the only options at the time. So they made a move. It didn't work out. Now they got a guy who can do the shit and do it right. And Aaron still got a good cannon.
That's what's wild, too.
Could be scary.
Rodgers comes from the Jets. He looks great. He doesn't look 40. He looks 37 or 35. He doesn't look 40. He was on the Jets. And where does Fields go? Fields last year looked great. Thought he should start over Russell Wilson. And now he's in the Jets. And it's like, damn, and it's the Jets. And you have to tell yourself, organization shit matter. And
organization, yeah.
What was I going to say? Pittsburgh. I don't remember. Go ahead.
That's okay. Well, Pittsburgh has that history.
Yeah.
Seems like they always get it right. They get their coaches right. They get their quarterback right. Just a well-oiled machine. Always. Jets, New York Giants, always seems to be turmoil. What is the common denominator? And you got to look at it. The Rooneys the well-respected ownership. They are, I think, single-handedly the greatest ownership family in the NFL. And I would probably put the Ursays second. But, you look at New York, who's running those two teams? I mean, it's always chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it has to do with the city that you're playing in and the fan base that you have.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to find a way to shut them the fuck up.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to get them involved and to not be so down in the dumps all the time, because it's just, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. But every year in the preseason, you see, oh, the Giants are going to make a run this year. Oh, the Jets are going to make a run this year. No, the fuck they're not. No, they're not. The Giants, I think, are close. The Giants are close.
That's because
the Jets are nowhere near.
They have a lot of things right. They have a coach that has the capability, like you were talking with Josh Allen and all the tree. And then you get enough guys in the locker room that have that same juice. You can get hot. We've seen the Jets. They have had a couple teams in the past where Rex Ryan, this ruthless kind of rah guy. It worked for
the ground and pound.
Revis Island, right? The mentality,
Yeah.
Bart Scott, they had a certain mentality, and that worked because sometimes that attitude, you can get a couple years out of that attitude. Jacksonville had a couple years out of that attitude. But your organization is ultimately going to show its head at some point. You're going to see it fucking fall apart and break down. Now, what I was going to say earlier, I just remembered, was Steichen. I was calling it. I was like, hey, he's stanking. He's stanking. Get him out of here. I'm done with him, right? In hindsight, I didn't think it was likely, but for him to have the right quarterback that fits what he's trying to do, he isn't calling the kind of plays either that he did last year in the moments. So I have to credit him that he has adapted and learned from his mistakes, along with getting a guy that fits him better. I was very hopeless that was a possibility. Kudos to Steichen that he really did have a mold, and there was something there, and he is tapping into his potential as a coach. He's given better speeches, I think, in the locker room. I just think that the Irsay family and Jim passing and all that, everyone has almost been reminded why they play.
Yeah.
And Steichen and Daniel Jones and everybody, Daniel's probably the quietest quarterback in the NFL. I can't even tell you hardly what his voice sounds like half the time because he never speaks. He's just so in here. He's so quiet. And I thought he was just like an Eli. He's just quiet. And so hopefully for the Giants, they got a dart. And Pittsburgh, they look great. And I am definitely watching them because Steel Curtain, 22 games in a row they have won in Pittsburgh against the Browns. 22 games of regular season. That is there's people that are just now old enough to drink and have never seen the Browns win in Pittsburgh.
Terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
what a sure bet that was. All the bettors out there, it was probably a minus 36,000 for the Steelers to win that game.
Yeah, and how bad is the Cleveland organization feeling right now that they picked Deshaun Watson over Baker Mayfield? Probably one of your all-time biggest fuck-ups ever.
This is what I will say when we go back to the Shedeur kind of conversation. Hold on real quick. Even if they played Shedeur Sanders, they would only get 2 or 3 years of happiness because their organization is like the Jets. And it's like these other teams that find a way to allow it to crumble. They find a way for it to come crashing down. They pay the wrong guys. They bring the wrong ones in. The attitude, the locker room, the coach. They would find a way to screw it up. And then Shedeur would have a chance to succeed somewhere else. Or he'd Deshaun Watson and get himself in trouble. But I think he's fathered really well and has a good head on his shoulders. So that even if Shedeur, he does not have a long-term stint in Cleveland, but it's because of how it happens within the organization and how it trickles down. It just isn't a possibility until something large changes.
Yeah, and it's a shame because I think Cleveland made the right choice when they hired Stefanski. They made the right coaching choice for Baker.
Yes.
And I think if he were to still be there, we're having a different conversation about Cleveland. They're going to be in the playoffs almost every year. So you got to kind of look at that and say, okay, the general manager, was that a decision that he made? If that's what he decided to do, out of there. The ownership has to, you can't just boot the ownership out of the building. You can't do that.
But the fans and
But
everyone could
the
demand
fans,
a lot.
yeah, the fans there, and if fan bases would realize that they have more of a voice than they give themselves credit for.
Mm-hmm.
You can sit there and be like, all right, I think we've seen enough. I think the Watson contract alone is enough to get this guy out of town and bring in somebody that is capable of doing that and putting together a good roster. You got two guys right here that can probably put together a better roster than that sumbitch has. And it's not even close.
There are thousands and thousands of men everywhere that have been playing Madden for 20 years, and they absolutely could put a better roster together.
Yeah.
They really, really could.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that was a lesson for everybody. You don't give somebody who is in legal trouble a fucking $250 million fully guaranteed contract because he has played 20 games and he's been hurt every other one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are we doing? I mean, GM there has got to go, and I mean, he should be fired right now.
How do we know he's not getting hurt on purpose for some more massages?
I don't know if there's any massage places that would even be like, yeah, sure, I'll come out.
You said who?
Who?
Derek Watson? Okay, all right.
Derek Watson. That sounds too close. I don't think I'm gonna.
All right. Anyway, moving on. The next game I have on here is I couldn't think of anything. I just put underestimated. The Patriots.
Yeah, we shit the bed on that one, huh?
The Patriots are pretty good, man. I watched it and I'm starting to become pretty impressed. I think they play a lot like Vrabel's Titans would play. They're careful, precise. They play good defense. They have good special teams. They make few mistakes. New England's pretty good.
They're very disciplined, very disciplined. And might I say, it's still early, and I'm definitely not going to make this comparison yet. But the last 2 weeks, Drake May has resembled a certain former quarterback that they've had there before, and he's playing very good, and he's playing like that style where he's not making mistakes. He's not the one turning the ball over. He's not costing them the game or anything like that. And you know what? It doesn't piss me off. And I would see a former number 12 there, and it would always make me mad. And I would hate the fucking Patriots. I would. But right now, you see him there, and it's like he's actually a baller. Yeah. You got Stephon Diggs making a resurgence there, and it's like you like to see it. It's like I'm happy for Stephon Diggs. Yeah. You got old Booty there too, and it's like, man, yeah, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, they got a good team. They are going to be great, and like they could be scary this year going forward. After this year, they're only going to get better, and they're only going to get more gelled. So New England's going to be a contender again, and maybe this year it'll be sooner than what everybody expected for sure. But I did not expect Drake May to be this good this early.
No. Neither did I. I don't think he looks anything like Tom Brady.
I'm not making that compare, but I'm saying the last 2 games.
Yeah.
It gives you that vibe of like, man, this is what they used to look like.
He doesn't even play like Bomb Trady either. So like, I don't think I would see that comparison.
He's retired, bud. You can say his name.
But to me, his style looks a lot like JJ McCarthy. It looks a lot like Bo Nix. He has big, long strides rolling around out of the pocket. He's very mobile. Kind of what Stephon Diggs said, he kind of gives you a younger Josh Allen vibe with the way he plays. I would think
just not as big.
It's not as big. He's very, I would say he's a gamer guy. Maybe even kind of bakery, right? He's got some gamer vibe to him. what was I going to say here? The Olave, there was a lot of plays in this game that I thought were called badly by the referees.
Very
There was
badly,
so
very
many that they
poorly
were screwing
officiated
up.
game.
There was a New England touchdown called wrong at the one. They told them they didn't get in. They did. Booty scored.
They did.
They made them go through a few downs to punch it in the end zone. He fucking scored. And I can't believe they went on replay, look at that, and actually said he was short. That's trash. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was bad.
Booty made an
Very
awesome
bad.
fucking play, and you ripped that
Yeah,
touchdown
I
away
think
from him.
I think that was a Las Vegas call. I think they were calling to just be like, "Hey, don't let him have that. We got to keep it in the spread."
Yeah. The Olave catch fumble later in the game, they called it incomplete. And I actually kind of thought that he had two steps and
and he turned.
And I'm just like, I get it.
Move.
That's the like minimum. And like they decided that he hadn't really, but anyone watching it, when you look at it in slow mo, he grabs the ball and he had it tucked. You have to call something like that a football move, either turning your hips or what do they call it? Possessing the ball. There's another tucking the ball. He tucked the ball into his side. It wasn't like he caught it and was still holding it out here, right? He tucked it. I mean, you can't tuck a ball that you don't have. I don't like that call. I get it because it was so close. You could have one of those play stands kind of thing. That's bullshit. That was probably a fumble, which also goes towards New England. But then they got the Juwan Johnson fumble wrong later. I think they did that because they fucked up the Olave. Juwan Johnson was fucking down. I don't care that he hit the ball. He fucking pinned it again into his midsection with his hands on it and his groin. He still had it. But he lands and he can't keep possession of it. That's bullshit. Ground can't cause a fumble. So I can't move it from here to here and fall to the ground. That's a fumble. That was a bullshit call. That was a makeup call for Olave. I just like, my God, these refs are fucking this game up today.
Yeah. Let alone that bogus PI call on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
They said that he pushed off. He made contact.
It was
he
like
didn't extend.
Yeah.
It was just he had his hand on his jersey. He didn't extend. He didn't push.
Yeah.
He had his hand on him to kind of measure, and then he went up and made the catch. And it was a fucking dime piece from May.
Yeah.
Just a dime, dude.
He was clearing space.
And it took it away from him.
They're saying he was clearing space, and it's like, no. He was getting
he didn't even
out
extend
there to see how far away he had. He was judging his measurement. He didn't push him.
No.
It was trash, man. That was bad.
Another example of just inconsistent refereeing. You know, they want to get their TV time. I get it. They want to be on TV, and it was. We'll get to it here probably later, but even the game last night was poorly officiated. Just ungodly.
We'll get to the
stupid
Sunday
calls.
Night game.
Yeah, I'm not going to even talk about that yet because I'm going to be a
we'll
bitch.
Get there.
But yeah, this game was probably the poorest officiated game of the entire weekend.
Yes.
So I felt bad for Drake May because he made a beautiful throw to Diggs, and it took like 5 fantasy points away from me too. So I was upset about that. But yeah, it just made it look. It was just Bush. The officiating has just turned even more sour this year than it has been. The officiating is not getting better. It's getting worse every single year. It's just on this downward track where it's like you want to see improvement. You want to sit there and see them maybe let some things go, and then maybe call some of the ticky tacks. I get it, but there's some things that you can look at and say that doesn't need to be called. Some things that are blatant that should be called, but they're not.
Yeah.
So there's got to be a system over the officials. I mean, I'm sorry, but there has to be. They are still proving year in and year out that they cannot call consistent plays every single game. You don't want them to be robots, of course, but they're not getting better. Everything's getting worse, and the conspiracies are out there. But you know what? The conspiracies, they look true a lot of the times. And it's like, okay, well, if that's true, how much does Vegas have to do with this? And you can't help but look at it and
Yeah.
say it's all connected. Put your tinfoil hat on, but it's just some of it is just so blatantly out there that you cannot help but to look at it and put those two together.
Yeah, I agree. The only other thing that I thought I would bring up, because honestly, the game itself, statistically, it was just a very good, balanced back and forth. There wasn't a lot of unfortunately, the bullshit calls was the big headline of this game. There was one
Yeah.
that I thought Vrabel maybe was feeling himself a little too much. They were like midfield or just past it. He was going for it on 4th and 7. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, your defense, at some point we have to understand that when we're going for him on 4th down, it does say something about how much you trust your defense. So on 4th and 1, 4th and 2, even 4th and 3, I understand maybe coaches analyticsing it up a little bit and saying, oh man, I'm really loving this play in this moment. This is our spot on the field. This and that. 4th and 7 is a little bit
A
far.
little much.
Why don't you just pin them on the 2? Like, I have seen our Colts as an example. We have lost games to guys like Mike Cyphers, I believe, from the Chargers, who would pin us with 75-yard fucking punts, and we would lose the game on field position the whole time. Don't underestimate a punt and downing it, muff. There is so much special teams. Come on, Ooh, oh, you made me break on the phone. Damn it. I couldn't let it go. All right. But yeah, there's something you could do on a 4th and 7. And the best choice is to pin them. You get them on the 1-yard line. You can get a holding in the end zone. You can get a fumble. There's so much you could do to make them uncomfortable. I'm just like, come on, let's not give up on that. 4th and 7 is too much. 4th and 2 or 3, okay, but not 7. Come on.
Yeah, and remember, Spencer Rattler, he another good efficient game.
Yes,
but he's still a young guy, and you can force him into a mistake there deep.
Ironically, he's one of the more promising young guys. Honestly, through what we've seen this year, Carolina should probably prefer a Rattler just because Bryce Young has shown you how reckless he can be with the football. There's guys that I'm like, you know what? Rattler has performed better. He just, I thought he was dog shit, and I think he's a piece of crap with his attitude. I will continue to say that. I don't care. Some assholes end up being pretty good at stuff. He's an asshole. That's fine. It's his mantra. Maybe that helped him be good or at least get to this point.
Yeah.
But, hey, he's taking care of the ball. He plays a good football, solid football game. For him to not turn the ball over at his young age and play that way, you got to say that. That's impressive.
Yeah, you got to tip your cap to him. He's playing. He's not losing them the game, and that's rare to say for a second-year guy.
He's been a little
as bad as he was last year. Yeah, he was rough at times last year.
Yes,
but this year he's done a complete 180, and he's actually been playing pretty impressive ball.
Put it this way, barring injury, I don't think it matters what their record is. Shu doesn't get in. He won't get in unless Rattler gets hurt. I don't care if their record, if they don't win another game and it's 1-11. I don't think Shu will get in because I don't think Rattler is their problem. He's playing fine.
Yeah, honestly, he's playing. He's definitely not playing himself out of the job.
His deep ball's getting better. And it's like, if he starts having a deep ball, that's what I was saying last week. But we were too early to pick the Saints. The New England is a good team. We were too early to pick.
That pretty much galvanized it. It was New England is good, and they're not the 2024 Pats. You can just pencil them in for a win that week. You're gonna have to play your best game to beat them, and it sucks to say that New England's back in that zone again.
Oh man!
But they're gonna be a tough out.
Yep, I agree. The next game, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
Titans and Raiders, I put someone had to win.
Slop. It was just slop all around, I mean, my prediction almost came true, but, Geno had to have a pick. Just had to.
And we had someone comment on our show and said Geno's good for a pick to still, and I thought, he's probably right.
Like, he'll have one. Yeah, like, oh, I think he'll have one. Like, well, Okay, that's not necessarily a hot take. I was trying to make a hot take.
Yeah, you were like, "Hey, 3 touchdowns, 300 yards," and it's like, "Oh, I guess we forgot that pick."
Yeah, that was probably stupid on my part because he
Whoops.
needed about another 130 yards to make 300. I figured he would throw for 300 and just
Mhm.
not turn it over. I didn't say anything about his touchdowns, but
Yeah.
I'm not that bold yet.
Hmm.
But it seems like I need to maybe reel in the bold takes a little bit.
That's all right.
Um, so yeah, maybe giving Gino a little bit too much credit
Yeah.
because so far this year he's butt, man. He's just butt.
Yeah.
The whole team is really butt. So
I'll
are the
just
Titans.
I'll just go through the quick takeaways. There wasn't very many. Cam
Nope.
got sacked 6 times, so the Raiders
A lot
showed
of sacks this weekend,
a lot
man.
of
A lot of
sacks.
sacks.
There was a lot. There was probably like 50 sacks. Like it was an ungodly amount.
Damn.
But yeah, Cam got sacked a lot. Ridley got hurt in the game. Found out Van Jefferson still plays for the Tennessee Titans. Um, both
Boy,
teams
that's unfortunate.
both teams barely had over 220 total yards, which means that this, like you said, it was a lot of slop. Like they were in prison or something. Really, Titans, they just can't stop turning the ball over. It's like they're at the very, like we called it way back in like week 2 or 3. They're in the larva stage, is what you said.
Yeah.
3 turnovers. They're losing games just because they don't really know how to do the winning yet. I mean, it's gonna take time. So
Yeah, last week was, it was definitely a fluke.
they lucked into
So
it.
that's never going to happen again. But yeah,
Tennessee probably won't win
they
another
don't
one.
know how to win yet. Yeah. And Callahan getting fired today will probably tell you everything that you need to know.
Yeah.
Um, he's not it. He was not a good hire from day one. I mean,
Yeah.
to get rid of Vrabel and then to bring that ass bag on. I
Hey,
mean, they have done nothing since Vrabel has gone. They've done
what
zero.
what a troll job it would be though. New England brings in Vrabel, who used to be from Tennessee, and then Belichick gets his granted wish out of North Carolina, and he
Oh
comes to the
God,
Titans. They just switch spots.
no! Oh my God, no! No, like even right now, I think Belichick is just added baggage that you don't want.
Yeah.
Because his girlfriend is going to be like, well, I want to run the social media team. Dad, can I have some money to go to the mall?
Aha, we found a way to plug college football in.
Mm-hmm.
Go
More to
IU!
come.
All right.
Yeah, buddy. But still,
Um,
yeah, no, fuck Belichick. He's done.
any
And I
coaches
think North Carolina's learning a valuable lesson.
since that's our first firing, is there any coaches right away that pop out at you or a coordinator that you think, oh, that would be a good idea for next year? Put you on the spot.
Not off the top of my head.
We'll work on it
Um,
through the segments in the
but
future.
But I mean, one guy who I think may deserve another shot is what the hell is his name? The Broncos D coordinator who used to be the coach out there. Um Van something.
Van,
The,
I know who you're talking about.
yeah, well him. Maybe he could get another shot because he has rebuilt that defense from where Fangio had it.
Vance Joseph.
Vance Joseph, yeah.
Okay.
I think he should deserve maybe one more shot somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe you could give a Spagnolo another shot somewhere. But nobody really jumps out at me
Yeah.
right, at least right now.
Not yet. Maybe Tampa's OC.
Maybe Tampa's OC. Maybe somebody from the McVay tree.
Yeah.
Or the Shanahan tree, somebody we don't really know too much about yet.
Yeah.
But, that's just it's too early, I think, right now, at least anyway. You probably have to let the season play out.
Yep. Segueing in to the Tampa Bay game, I put on here the Bucks were just better. Like it just felt like my take from that game between them and the Niners was at no point did I really think the Bucks were going to lose. At no point was the
No.
momentum ever bad enough for them or good enough for the 49ers where I just thought the Bucks wouldn't be able to win, because it was close through a lot of the game until we got towards the end. But it just felt, the whole game felt like the Bucks are just better, and
Yeah.
they're playing just lights out, I feel.
Yeah. What about the Johnson and Johnson boys there, man? I mean, they got Ibuka goes down, you think, shit's about to hit the fan. Everybody's kind of bummed out about that. And then you get the two Johnsons, man. It's
Did
like,
you did you
whoa.
see Tez Johnson's locker room press?
Yeah.
He heard
Yeah, well, he was like, he heard them chant MVP, and there's like, dude, they were chanting that for Baker, bro. What the hell are you
He
talking
was
about?
literally telling Sterling Shepard, "I ain't done nothing though," and Sterling's like, "They're talking about Baker, dude. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah, that's pretty bad. I had to laugh at that. That's so good though.
And they asked
But
Baker
he's got a good head on his shoulders at least.
after the game, is he bothered that with all the injuries that his like fifth string receiver was doing flips, and he's like, "Well, I mean, not really." He's like, "When you weigh 140 pounds, it's pretty easy."
You can do that,
He
yeah.
like took a shot at his fifth string receiver, but that tells me like the rapport and the team, the way they play, it's like they get along. Like there's a good vibe. The locker room is like humming. Like they're on a mission. Like they are not fucking
Yeah.
around this year. They could do
No,
it.
they are not.
They could do it.
Yeah, if this continue, I mean, right now it's Baker's the MVP, and there's nobody even close to him right now. I don't care who
I
it
think
is.
Josh Allen is close, and he's playing tonight.
I don't think so.
But
I
it
would not
could
put
be
Josh
Baker.
Allen.
Yeah.
Maybe, but the only thing I think he has going for him is that he's the defending MVP.
Right.
But right now, I think as far as going out and earning the son of a bitch, Baker he's that guy. He still only has one interception.
I think it
Still.
does give Baker a better shot because it's unfortunate, but because Josh Allen won it, you don't feel as compelled to give it to Josh Allen. If he has zero, a lot of people will be sitting there going, "It's Josh Allen's turn. He hasn't got one yet." But for him to have got one, you're like, "Where's Baker's?" Like that same vibe.
Yeah, Baker deserves it.
him.
Right now, it's Baker Mayfield's to lose. Like it's his right now. If he just, as long as he doesn't hit some like mid-season, late-season slump or get hurt or something like that, it's his to lose.
Putting the stats aside, you guys can comment down below if you feel differently. But stats wise, he's automatically in the conversation. Now you take into consideration Bucky Irving has missed 2 games. Mike Evans has missed 4 games. Chris Godwin has missed at least 3 games because he wasn't with them to start. Now they lost Ibuka mid-game. Tell me that isn't your MVP. They just beat the 49ers.
He's got to be.
Now,
Gotta
I can't gloss over the fact for the 49ers, I cannot believe Warner got hurt. I cannot believe the 49ers are that unlucky. Like, I can't even get into my mind. Like, if you're anyone in the world, seriously, do not move to San Francisco and drink the water because there's something wrong. Like, there is a curse. There is an absolute curse on San Fran. How many times do you feel like you could have picked them to be the Super Bowl contender and, like, they lost it because of injuries? Because I feel like at least 3 times in the last decade, they really should have been able to win a title, but injuries completely erased it.
Yeah, you could say probably maybe take 1 or 2 seasons out, but for like the last 8 years, they could have been considered a favorite to at least get to the NFC Championship every year. You could pencil them in for that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with some of the some of the years that they had really high injuries, they would still make playoffs and maybe win a game. But man, they are one of the most unlucky teams. You feel bad for them.
Yeah,
I feel really bad for Shanahan. But then you got to kind of look at it as like, okay, is it a training problem? Is it a workout problem? Are we not doing enough to get these guys limber? Are we not doing enough stretches? Or what are we doing? Yeah, so I mean that's something that top down in the organization you got to kind of look at. It's like, okay, what can we do to get some longevity out of these guys? Warner's injury is going to take a season or two off his career. It's just going to.
And when
McCaffrey is an I don't know almost every year going into it. You don't know how long he's going to last.
And that Brandon Ayuk and like Juwan Jennings and Purcell and Nick Bosa and I'm just like, oh, George Kittle. I cannot even believe the mass unit they have. And it feels like every year, 2 or 3, one of those, they're definitely a mass unit. They're completely riddled with injuries.
Yeah.
If you're a San Francisco 49ers fan, the K on the J&K show, I am sorry that you have to deal with this. I am sorry. I'm
really not that sorry because you're still 4-2. Get over it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can't take them out of any game. Just their coaching staff is top notch.
I mean,
they have a great coaching staff. They got a great GM. Their owners are pretty good. So I mean, they develop players very good there. They really do, and they got a good scheme, and they draft well.
Yeah.
So they got guys. It's just not their stars.
Yeah.
Their stars are getting hurt. So you got to bring up new guys to speed, and it takes time.
Having said that, though, even today when I thought of Fred Warner, I thought about hearing his voice going, no! And that is from the Super Bowl when he looks back and he sees that Dre Greenlaw tore his fucking Achilles in the Super Bowl to just running on the field. And I'm like, that is how I think about the 49ers in every way. I look at them and say every player on their team is a running out on the field moment from being out. They don't even have to get hit.
Yeah.
Like, how can they all be made up of Anthony Richardsons? How is that possible?
Yeah. They call me Mr. Glass.
I can't even, and they're some of the baddest dudes in football too. It's not just regular guys. Like, these are Pro Bowlers. They get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for
them.
And
they had that, what's his name? Mustafa was out for a while.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming back now, but I mean, it just seemed, man, something's going on there.
Yep.
Maybe it's all the dookie that's on the sidewalks in San Francisco. You never know.
We got Charvarius Ward from the 49ers. He's actually missed a few games in his first stint with us already. Now, obviously, the bullshit that just happened, but he'd missed a couple games already before that.
Yeah, it's already his second concussion this year, and that's troubling.
It is. It's concerning. Going to the game itself, early in the game, Mac's interception, the commentary, they were kind of like, oh, that was a bad throw. And it's like, I think the receiver might have ran the wrong route. It seemed like he threw it to his right, to the outside, and the guy pivoted inside. Mm-hmm. The receiver, the way Mac's response, I think it seemed like he may have not run the right route, or maybe Mac got it wrong and he thought different. But I didn't think that it was like a bad throw. What I got out of this game after I watched the other one, it was like, okay, so it's just an automatic. You go for 2 after a penalty because they did that in this game too. Oh no, there's a penalty. Hey, we're going to go for 2. I don't understand that. I don't like it. I know the kickoff rules, the PAT rule. I know the PAT is kind of far. It's like a 30-some yard or whatever. I don't like it. The best play of the entire year this year, and Baker, I think, already has like the 3rd best. Baker's 3rd and 14 run was unbelievable. It makes me feel like they're going, dude. That play, I'm just like, they're going.
That to me, that play is what put him in my number 1 on the MVP list. That play alone.
It was
throw his stats out the window. That one play was like, this dude is giving everything that he has. He is putting his life out there.
Yeah.
And he is saying, get on my fucking back, guys. I'm going to take us where we need to go.
Make a movie about Baker Mayfield. Like, he's like Falco from The Replacements. Like, he literally is like, I'll do it my fucking self. The play's out of hand. Oh, the spin move on the breakaway. I'm like, God.
I wouldn't mind them to make a Baker Mayfield movie, but I would want to wait until Pedro Pascal was retired so we wouldn't have to see him play Baker.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. I would get Pascal fatigue.
That is true. I could agree with that. Again, you said earlier, Ibuka got hurt. That's concerning because he's just such an ascending star. I hope that he
Yes.
gets healthy.
I hope
Um,
he's good.
6 sacks on Mac Jones. I didn't know Tampa had that kind of defense. They seem to really
Didn't know they had
smother
it in him.
him. I was like,
Yep.
man.
Yeah, that was nice.
Caused them to throw 2 picks. And then I don't know how, but Kendrick Bourne seems to be their best receiver. He's giving you those little Antonio Brown vibes at 84. He just a
Mm.
smaller, shifty guy. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's kind of a gamer now that I've seen him do it 2 in a row. I'm like, I should make sure he stays out there when Juwan's healthy, when Pearsall's healthy. If you even get Ayuk back, I'm like, you probably should try to make sure you continue to play Bourne a good amount because
Yeah.
he's pretty good.
Yeah, he was doing exactly what he did in New England a couple times a year. He would just have those 3 catches, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns,
Do you think it's
But
Mac Jones and that Purdy won't have the same connection because they played together in New England?
no. Well, they did have that New England connection, so I
Right.
mean they're familiar with each other. So
Yeah.
that definitely it doesn't hurt.
Right.
I don't know how much it helps, but it doesn't hurt.
Right.
But I think Brock Purdy could absolutely still have that same rapport with him.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not. It just depends on what receivers they have ready any given week. You just never know who's going to be on the field, and it's tough to plan for to play against them. But it's even tougher for them to plan what they're going to do to attack. So it's going to be tough for San Fran to do a whole lot of damage this year. But I mean, for what they've been able to do with everything to this point has been impressive.
They are the most impressive for what they've dealt with for 4-2.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
really are.
All the injuries and everything. It's been amazing.
Yep, I agree. The final game of the 4 o'clock turned out to be a little bit more interesting. I'm just going to give Cincinnati credit here when I say Flacco is okay and well, guys. He is okay.
He made it.
Flacco
He made it.
was sacked 1 time. Credit to Cincinnati for calling the game in a way to keep him from getting hurt, to getting hit a bunch, to protecting him enough. Just kudos. And he was able to throw 20 targets to the top 2 receivers. Browning was having some troubles with that. Flacco didn't really turn the ball over. Kudos to that. So they immediately looked like they were in better hands and things were moving around a little better. They were really sluggish on rhythm early. They were having 3-and-outs, but they were not having their windows blown in. They weren't causing catastrophic things to happen. Yeah, I was impressed. What did you get from that?
I took that away from that game that if Cincy's defense was able to do that to Green Bay's not as scary as everybody seems to think that they are.
We jumped.
I do not. Yeah, I don't see Green Bay as a top tier team right now.
No, they're not.
Maybe they're not a playoff team, at least right now. But that could change. I mean, Golden made some great plays for them. Jacobs was a monster. But, as much as Jacobs did and as much as Golden did, the Green Bay probably should have scored 40 points, and the Bengals defense has not stopped anybody. So that's 2 straight games really where Green Bay has kind of looked subpar, and they let the Cowboys tie them with 40 fucking points even. And then you let Joe Flacco come in. He's been with the team for 12 minutes and come down and not led great drives in the second half. Flacco looked good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jordan Love did not play great. They did not seem to be in rhythm. They did not seem to be in sync, which usually, you get a LaFleur team after a bye, they usually have one of their better games of the year. So if I'm in Green Bay, man, I look at this game and I'm a little worried.
The one shining spot for them, Jacobs had a great game. I thought he played really good.
Yep.
So if
Yep.
they can use that game and it's like, okay, let's make sure that running back is an absolute focal point. They might start turning in some wins. They're 3-1-1. In a couple weeks, if they're 5-1-1, we're gonna have to look at them a little different. Probably be like,
Yeah.
oh, they're a shoe in playoff. But you still might not be scared of them because of just how they are
No.
made up and how they operate. You're supposed to be. On paper, it looks like you should be, but what we're
Hmm.
seeing out of them, they're not nearly that scary. If I'm being honest, when the Bengals went down and they threw the pass to Chase and he corrected and scored a touchdown, and they went for two, which I thought was
Hmm.
just fuck it, momentum and let's go. And then Zach Taylor was all hopped up, yeah, and I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit! I actually thought Cincinnati was going to win. So kudos to
You
Green
thought they had a chance anyway. Yeah.
Green Bay went down. They got themselves a field goal and they put it out of reach. So kudos to them. They
Hmm.
responded. But I honestly thought, like, how do you even let Cincinnati have that kind of momentum? Like, to even allow me as a fan to think that they're going to beat
Hmm.
you? That tells me that you're just not that team. Like, you're just not.
Yeah. At least not right now. Yeah, they may have beaten the Lions, in week 1, but like
Mm-hmm.
I've always say, the first 2 weeks of every season are basically a wash. Just because you don't know what you have yet, you're still trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. But at least right now, Green Bay does not scare me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, we can absolutely beat them because they're not doing anything to beat anybody down or put games out of reach. Yeah, they can score points, but you look at yesterday, they had a prime opportunity to just demolish Cincy, and they didn't do it. They couldn't do it. So that kind of makes me think, are we putting too much on Green Bay right now?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we're not giving Cincinnati enough credit either. Now, if Cincinnati, I think they play Pittsburgh this Thursday. So if they can go in on a short week, and we'll have to kind of gauge and we'll see how they play Pittsburgh. But if Pittsburgh just annihilates them and blows them out of the water, then you definitely need to turn your head to Green Bay and just be like, why couldn't you do that?
I agree.
Why was this not the result?
Yep.
So I got to kind of pump the brakes on them a little bit. I'm definitely not that impressed with what I've seen out of them.
Nope. I agree. Moving on to the final game of the night, and I put right on here the NFL made the call. The Lions got
Yep.
absolutely jobbed in the game. Now, I'm not the guy that's
Mm,
going to say the Lions would have won. That's not what I'm saying. The Lions might still have
no.
lost the game. That's fine. It happens.
Yeah.
Chiefs are a solid football team. But how many penalties do you think that have been thrown on the Chiefs through the first 5 weeks?
Let's see. I know they didn't have any last night. I'm going to say the Chiefs, up to this
5 weeks.
point, probably have had about 11 penalties called on them.
They have had 49 flags thrown on them in the first 5 weeks, which means
Wow.
they are carrying a near 10 flag average for the season. Now,
Wow.
some of them might have been declined, and so they didn't count against them on this team stats,
Yeah,
or
I
they
was
might have
going with
offset.
accepted penalties. Yeah.
Well, I just went to the ranking of total flags thrown, meaning they committed a
Yeah.
foul. They committed a foul. Like it was a flag that did
Yeah.
technically mean it was a flag, right?
Uh-huh.
And they had 0 last night. So they're averaging a clean cut 9.5 to 10 a game thrown on them.
Unreal.
Sometimes they offset, or sometimes maybe they're declined so that someone will punt, whatever. They were averaging that. And the one time they threw a penalty on them last night, they picked it the fuck up,
Mhm.
changed their mind, and they jobbed the Lions on the first fucking drive.
Yep. That they
Now,
did.
I understand they explained that Goff couldn't do, oh, he has to go under center. That's weird. I've seen Peyton Manning walk off claiming the play was fucked and then we just hiked the ball. I don't know how that's any different. And you see it in movies and college, you see it all the time, whatever. They got in a conference call. They got in a huddle. And they're like, wait a minute. Can he do that? I don't
Yeah.
think so. We probably should throw a flag.
Yeah.
Let's throw a flag.
After, mind you, after they called touchdown on the field. And then they was like, well, we need to talk about this because old Mahomes throat goat Chris Collinsworth was bringing it up on TV. Well, Hayden, you got to go back and get set before you run out. No, the fuck. Come on. That's never, I don't know if that's ever been a thing.
Yep.
It's never been anything that has ever been brought up before.
So if you get
So,
under center and you're
why
over
does he
here
know that?
audibling and you're going left center 42 blue,
Mm.
and then you back up and then you leave, it's okay. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
Why would that even be a fucking
Yeah.
rule? Stop it.
It's never been brought up before, and I don't know. I don't know if we've seen that exact play run either, but
Something very similar a few times for sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he went out for a pass. He caught a pass from St. Brown for a touchdown last year, but which was awesome. But it just never ceases to amaze me how often the Chiefs get these off the wall penalties and it benefits them. It never hurts them, but it always benefits them. And then you have the one that I really hated. Like, I was willing to look at the Goff thing and be like, okay, if you want to huddle together before you signal touchdown, okay, don't call it a touchdown because it's non-reviewable.
Well,
You can't
touchdowns
go
are
back and
reviewable,
change
right?
it. Well, every touchdown is reviewed for like
Yes,
complete pass
but not to call
and
a
to make
fucking
sure that
penalty
but
after,
not to
right?
call a penalty on illegal formation.
Bullshit.
You can't go back and review that.
Yeah.
So that was a hose job for one.
Mm-hmm.
The pass interference on Kelsey later in the half, where Kelsey just steamrolls into the defender, goes by him, and then is mad. He calls for the flag, and he fucking gets it, of course. Yeah. And then, not to mention his incomplete pass that they called a catch and went and looked back at, because there was like 80% of the ball was on the ground.
Yeah.
And it helped him catch the ball. There's like, well, the ball didn't move. Well, no shit. He's a heavy guy, and he's on top of the ball, which is hitting the solid ground. Of course, the ball's not going to move.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on. You guys were someone to sit there, and there's going to be Chiefs fans. Like, well, you guys are just haters. You're goddamn right we are. Because we are sick and tired of them getting this treatment. They're the only team that gets it. Like, nobody gets this kind of treatment. There's teams that will get maybe a controversial call every few games, but they're the only team that gets a controversial call or two or three every single time they're on the field. And it's just getting to the point where it is ridiculous and it's hard to watch them play at all.
Yeah. I'm in my 30s, and I feel like I've spent half my life watching a team go on, in basketball and football. I watch them a lot. And you watch a team that is doing their best to overcome adversity, and they finally win. And for whatever reason, right after they win, they just start having things handed to them. They start having themselves pushed. Like the Kansas City Chiefs, the first time they won the Super Bowl, there is no controversy of the calls that they got. There's no controversy of they just got so many PIs and so many roughing them. That didn't happen until after they won. It's like the NFL. You can't, when you say conspiracy, you can't help but say, wait a minute. Every time you have a champion, you call bullshit. Now with the Eagles, we are seeing tush push fucking as a violation. But we didn't see the violations when Kelsey did it. We didn't see them doing it because they hadn't won. The moment that they win, suddenly they get away with more shit. I was pissed from the very beginning when they called the Goff call, and then they're explaining it to fucking Dan Campbell, and then Goff comes running out there like, let's go for it. They have like 13 seconds. They don't fucking delay a game. And I'm like, fuck, are you guys serious? We don't have to do this fucking thing, right? Brady, Mahomes, right? We're not going to give them a fresh 25. There's a controversial call.
Clock,
You spent way longer than a play clock to fucking discuss it in the fucking group. And you're not going to give them a full 40 to really actually make a decision. You're going to just, we're going to come over here and explain it. And then, by the way, you got 10 seconds left. Fuck you guys. Like, have some
it's ridiculous.
An understanding of what you're doing. You're calling a call wrong. And just give them their time to, if they want to go for it, fucking let them go for it anyway. Probably not the right call. But then they're forced to kick a field goal because you just penalized them 10 yards on one fucking play. Twice.
Right, yeah.
They only had 4 penalties the whole game. 2 penalties in that first drive cost them 7. And then you've got the PI that they give to Kelsey or whatever. That's 3 of the 4 penalties. Detroit didn't foul. But I guess Kansas City didn't foul. We could go watch that tape. I guarantee Juwan Taylor at least false started 5 fucking times. Stop it.
Oh yeah.
They
Oh yeah, and
shouldn't
there
have
was
zero.
I don't know how many times I saw at least 3 myself
Yeah,
where Aiden Hutchinson was being dragged to the ground and being pulled.
they should
You
never have
know,
0
and
penalties.
no team will have 0 penalties ever. All you got
Stupid.
to do is watch the linemen, and you're going to have holding on almost every other play.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying that holding should be called every single time,
But in the
but when
third
it's
quarter, if
wide
it was
open,
0,
when you're right in front of the goddamn referee, the side judge, the back judge, whoever the hell it is, when you're twisting the guy's shoulder pads in front of him and he's looking at you and he just chokes on the flag.
yeah.
Like, oh, well, oh, shit, I didn't think I brought my flag to work with me today, so I didn't know I had it. So it's starting to get to the point. Everybody, and for Chiefs fans, this is no way a knock on Chiefs fans.
No.
I don't want to hear any of it from you guys because this is not a knock on you.
No.
It's not even really a knock on your team. What it is a knock on how bad and it's just how open the officiating is, and they're not even trying to hide it.
No.
It just seems like it's so blatant that it's like, okay, well, they already know what we're going to do, so why would we try to hide it? So let's just do it. And it's, no matter how much we complain or, how much the backwoods guys are like, well, I'm just not going to watch no more. People are going to watch just because it is what it is, and people love the NFL. Me included. I'm never going to stop watching. But, just be honest. Be honest with the way things are going. You can look at it, and I can look at it right now, and I can say if the Colts ever went a game to have 0 penalties, I would be questioning it. Mm-hmm. I would be like, well, there had to at least been 1 or 2,
Yeah.
But we don't ever really get the 50-50 calls. We get them rarely, if ever. There's teams that just don't get it. There's teams that will never get the 50-50 calls. But it just seems like the KC calls are more 99-1.
Yep.
And it's just, you can see it with your own eyes, and you watch the game, and you know what to look for, and you know what you're seeing. And it's like, okay, well, there's a foul. There's a false start. There's a hold. Hey, there's a guy up on the line of scrimmage who needs to be back. That's an illegal formation, but they don't call it. Mm-hmm. That's 2 guys in motion at the same time. That should be a flag. So what the hell? So just be honest with yourselves and stop just trying to cover it up because you're a half-ass bandwagon Chiefs fan and you just want to blow Patrick a little bit and put some of his DNA in your throat.
Agreed. The Laporta touchdown was an insane catch by Laporta late in the game. Also, he was fouled. There was no flag. He had to make the catch with one arm being grabbed. He couldn't. You know why he caught it one-handed? Because he didn't have the other one available.
He didn't have the other one available. Yeah, he was getting fucking raped in the end zone.
It's bullshit. But what an insane catch.
It's just another example of just shit that they're getting away with constantly.
And I don't know if he's a righty, but he caught it left-handed. So baller for that if he is right-handed.
Breaking news, he's ambidextrous.
What? That's not impressive.
Big word of the day.
And then the actual game time thing I was going to say, teams were uber aggressive. There was 5 fourth downs in the game. Kudos to the teams who basically respected the other of like, better go for it here. Chiefs were 2 of 3 and the Lions were 0 of 2. Kind of sets the tone for a 13-point loss. So like, I'm not saying the Lions would have won. What I'm saying is you jobbed them on plays that were awesome. You cost them 4 points on a play. You didn't give the flag on Laporta in case he didn't catch it one fucking handed. You gave the Kelsey one, which helped the Chiefs get points. I think the game should have been more like a 24-21 type of win for the Chiefs. It could have still been a win for them. It's just annoying how they're willing to get involved to make sure who wins. That's bullshit. We don't like that. Now, after the game, Brian Branch.
He was all of us. Brian Branch was every single non-Chiefs dick sucker that was watching that game. He was all of us.
I don't know what was said. You don't know what was said. But what we could see from my perspective, and everybody's going to have a different perspective. My perspective of it was Brian Branch was leaving the field People were trying to talk to him, trying to slap hands with him. He did not want to. He was leaving Hollywood Brown or Pacheco. I'm not talking to you. Pacheco's in his ear. Just he walks up. He's going by Mahomes. Mahomes, hey, you want? Mahomes was talking shit to him. Brian Branch specifically throughout the fucking game when he was running and scrambling. He was talking shit to Brian Branch. I ain't gonna slap your fucking hand now that the game's over because you fucking won and you want to be all fucking high and mighty. He didn't want to slap his hand. He didn't. He didn't do anything to him. He walked by. Maybe there are words being said again. We don't know. Then Juju takes offense to that and wants to get involved. Oh, you didn't slap my quarterback's hand. Juju, shut the fuck up. Sit your ass in the locker room. You have no reason to go over there. But what does he do? He goes over there. Ben Wallace style, if I might say. And he gets up into Brian Branch's face. And guess what Brian said? No.
What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap.
And he's the one that leaves with the bloody nose. You know why? Because after he gets slapped for being a dumbass, what does he do? He gets up and he tries to fight. And then guess who loses their helmet and probably took some punches to the nose?
Yep. Old TikTok tough Juju.
The game is over. If people don't want to slap hands, we criticize LeBron. I don't give a fuck. If you don't want to slap hands, people have been chirping the whole game. I don't care. We talk about it and say LeBron's got to slap hands. I don't care. He leaves before the game's over, and I think that's stupid and kind of...
That is ridiculous, yeah.
But no, these guys are on the field. They slapped hands with who they want. If Brian Branch has a couple former teammates, he don't slap their hand. He's leaving. He don't care. And he's got people chirping, and he's got people trying to slap his hand. And it's like the next motherfucker that comes up to me, I'm fucking like, he's going to get suspended. He's going to get suspended. But it's sad. It's disappointing. He's going to get suspended because people were antagonizing him. Maybe he was walking up saying, fuck you, motherfucker, fuck you. He might have been just cussing everybody walking by. I don't know. But they were absolutely after him, too. You have one Detroit, and you have at least 3 or 4 Chief guys. Come on. Leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Game's over.
Yeah, just leave him alone. You know, let him go. He definitely was wrong for what he did.
Yes.
He definitely lost control of himself. He deserves to be fined and maybe even suspended for a game. So, but, you know, you can only, it will tell you, the competitor, you can only take so much before you're going to unleash.
There was 3.
And it's just like, it's like you got Pacheco in him barking at his ear. You got Mahomes. I didn't see Mahomes really talking.
I don't think he said anything.
He had his hand up. Maybe he's like, all right, bitch.
He was being that guy, right? Mahomes was being that guy that had talked
like, hey, you know, I called you a bitch. I called you a motherfucker. I called you a pussy, you know, and all that stuff. But, you know, hey, game's over. My team won. Hey, man. Yeah, slap me some skin, bro. It's just like, man, get your bitch ass out of here.
Yeah, like,
just get out of here.
You don't want it.
No, yeah. Especially when you got to hear, oh, that's a good game. You know, it's like, get your Kermit ass out of my face. You know, and then just to have Juju come up, he just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's one of those TikTok toughies where he just probably just going to, I'm surprised he didn't just break out in a TikTok dance in front of him and just be like, what now? You got served.
Let's not forget, he went out of Pittsburgh similar to Claypool, where he was too much of a diva and he was sent away.
Diva.
Just saying. We're not going to forget that. And he ran over to Branch. So, and if I'm being totally honest, maybe Juju deserves a game. They're getting Rashee Rice back next week anyway. Maybe Juju deserves a game. He ran to Branch to get hit in the face.
Yeah, at the I think at the very least he should probably be fined.
Yeah, 25.
For instigating, he definitely instigated.
Yeah.
So, you know, he responded to getting hit too, which, I mean, who wouldn't? But he definitely did not keep his cool either. So
does Juju?
I think he should probably sit out a game.
Does Juju get hit in the face if he doesn't go over to Branch?
No. I think Branch is getting ready to just go to the sideline and get off the field.
Yeah.
He's trying to leave. You know, just get out of my face. You know, just don't be that fucking asshole.
Yeah.
You don't have to sit there and rub it. Yeah. Yeah. You just beat arguably the number 1 team in the league right now. Be happy about it. Just stop trying to rub your shit in their face.
Yeah.
It just doesn't need to happen. Kansas City can fuck off. I just at this point, there was a little bit of respect for them just because of what they have been able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, I think the whole league should just be like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Kansas City.
Yep.
Fuck them. We're just gonna beat their ass all game long. And I think it should be like, I'll take some personal fouls. I'll take some unsportsmanlike conducts. I will fucking hit them just to send a message. You guys want to be dirty? We can be dirty too.
Yeah.
And that's where I would leave it.
The way I saw that last part, it was almost like there's 3 Chief players, and they're the members of the country club that play tennis every day, and then there's one guy there on a guest pass that's just trying out the club to see if he likes it, and the 3 guys kick the shit out of him in some matches throughout the day, and then they're talking shit the whole time. They're drinking their iced tea with whatever in it, and then the guy's getting ready to leave, and he's just real down the dumps, doesn't think that tennis is his sport, doesn't really think this club is for him, and they're over there walking him out the door saying, man, it was so fun having you here. Why don't you just come back next week and we'll do it again? And it's like, okay.
Yeah, we'll beat your ass some more. Yeah.
Like, that's how it looked. So for me, wasn't mad even at all that Brian Branch did it. I think he knew that he would get in trouble, and he decided the juice was worth the squeeze.
Yeah, I guess he thought it was going to be worth it. So, yeah, but power to him, more power to him. He was everybody, I think, outside of Kansas City. They're just like, about time somebody just hit them in their fucking mouth and just told them to shut up.
Right. And if the Chiefs are the players that keep getting hit after a game, you have to start to be like, okay, everybody, we're talking about, we're right with what we're saying. Like, they're kind of arrogant assholes, and they're talking a lot of garbage. Like,
yeah. Well, they need to remember, hey, you guys are fucking 3-3. Shut up. You're 500. Stop talking.
And that's what I was going to say about picks. We should have known. We didn't want to believe it. There's no way that the Lions are going to go to 5-1 and the Chiefs are going to go to 2-4 the same year the Ravens are 1-5. Like, we should have known that Chiefs are going to be at home 3-3, way more likely. Just on that
prime
mindset.
Time.
Prime time.
Chris Collinsworth there. He probably gave Patrick a pregame Hummer.
Things you can't say on the J&K show. Or you can, because fuck it, who cares?
Hey, we can. Fuck it, we're in charge.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us. We went a little over. I feel like we had a lot of rants to get out, and it was technically less games than other times. But thank you for continuing to watch us, like and subscribe, and we'll be giving you more. See ya.